Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, physical participants and individual participants. Good morning, welcome. I'm sure to see you guys, the beautiful faces in the house, and I'm glad I can see the ones virtually right now. For you to take our time to be here means we want to really learn. And I believe we'll try our best to impart knowledge this morning. Okay, so quickly, my name is Mary Ken Mokoro. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I'm also a data scientist, and I'm the technical lead of the AWS Gen AI Forum for Women. So the purpose of this Gen AI Forum is to empower women in AI with a focus on Gen AI from an AWS standpoint. Our aim is to create a community, a supportive community, where women can learn, share, and grow together. Okay, so we have a long-term and a short-term goal. Our short-term goal is to impact knowledge, knowledge sharing and skills development. So that's what you're here to do today. So we're going to unhold you, take you through the baby step, take you through every step, all the way from being a novice to a
Bluetooth disconnected.
The first stage is what we're doing today, which is introduction to Gen AI. So we have a lot of experts in the house. So, like I said earlier, there's a saying that when women are empowered, they end up empowering other women. So we're here to empower you today because we believe by the time we empower you, you'll be able to empower other women. And with time, we'll be able to create a community of women that are able to bridge the gap between women in tech and the rapidly evolving field of Gen AI, thereby reducing gender parity in the tech space. So together, I believe we're able to achieve. Don't be afraid. Don't be worried. You might be a novice, you might be like you don't even have any idea. But with one step at a time, we're going to be doing this frequently, every month, to be able to take you through from beginners to becoming a professional in this. Okay, so in that, I'm going to welcome, I'm going to go ahead to welcome someone very special. Is the chairman of the AWS Women, AWS Generative AI Women Forum, is our chairman of the advisory board, and is the first AWS African hero in the person of, please let's put our hands together, in the person of Mr. O'Reilly. Thank you.
Okay, good morning everybody. It's nice to be here, nice to be at this session. My name is Ewe, AWS Community Hero, and I'm mostly a DevOps engineer, but I'm currently trying to see how I can get my feet into cloud a little bit more and do some more work around it. So I'm just going to do a brief overview about what GenAI is in very simple terms, and what you can do with GenAI and AWS services that are designed for GenAI work, innovation, and everything. So I took my talk, Building the Future, a guide to generative AI with AWS. So it's going to be a short one, but with all the basic content in it. So first of all, before we go into the innovation, let's talk about what GenAI is. What is GenAI? In very simple terms, GenAI is a type of artificial intelligence that creates new things. So artificial intelligence is a broad concept, okay? Basically, the ability for machines to be intelligent, or AI, is to be able to learn and work with that knowledge. Now, before generative AI, AI has not been creating new content. It has been used for things like prediction, recommendations, and all that, okay? So before now, before GenAI became mainstream, one of the things that artificial intelligence was used for was for recommendation. For example, if you are watching a movie and you are done with that movie, say you are watching your Netflix is able to recommend for you similar movies or similar movies that look like what you watch, so you can watch more. Another place artificial intelligence has been used is in AWS or in Amazon, where you are shopping and you get recommended other shopping items that you should choose from. So that has been what AI has been used for. But GenAI comes with the ability for you to create new content based on what it has learned. So get the basic principle here. Artificial intelligence is about learning and the machine being able to work with that information it has learned from. So it can learn from text, it can learn from images, and it can learn from code. Okay? But what makes generative unique from the name generative is that it's able to create new data from existing data. So think of it as a cooperative partner for brainstorming, writing, and designing. So since generative AI can create new content, it means that when you are writing, you can use GenAI to write content. If you are an artist or you're a graphics designer, you can actually work with GenAI to improve your graphics design, to generate things that don't exist, okay? And it's not taking it from the air, it's practically using what has been trained with to be able to create new content for you. Okay, so let's jump straight into AWS and AI. So AWS has been a pioneer industry leader in terms of the AI ecosystem, but also in GenAI, they have also been leading the pack. So AWS gives you powerful and easy to use tools to start with generative AI. The first one we're going to talk about here is Amazon Bedrock. So what is Amazon Bedrock? From the definition here, you can easily add powerful AI features to your apps without needing to be a machine learning expert. It's the safest way to get started. So we have already defined what generative AI is and the difference between generative AI and other types of AI. Now, Amazon Bedrock is, from the name, it's like a bedrock, okay? Why do I say so? Because it's a platform that allows you to run different kinds of AI models. What's an AI model? An AI model is just should I explain to you like a definition of how you want to express yourself? Let me use that example. So just where you have different versions of operating systems, you have different versions of social media websites, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have X, Twitter and X are the same, okay? So also you have different models. So different models and different AI representations from different manufacturers, okay? For example, you have a model called Amazon Nova. Now, Amazon Nova is a model from AWS for doing all sorts of AI work, okay? Now, if you want to generate new content using AI, you can use the Amazon Nova model, okay? And then there are many others that are in the market. One of the most popular ones out there is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT has their model too, okay? So a model is one of the core components of generative AI. Now, what Amazon Bedrock has done is that Amazon Bedrock has been able to consolidate a lot of generative AI models into a single entity. So if you want to work with multiple AI models, because these models have different capacities. There are some models that are used for just generating text. There are some models that are used for generating images, and there are some models that can generate videos also. Okay, so in Bedrock you can find all these type of models. Another very popular model also is the Llama model. Llama model is from Meta, which is popularly known as Facebook. The Llama model is a very powerful model. It's also open source. So Llama model does video generation, text generation, sorry, not video, I think image generation and text generation. That's what the Llama model does. You can find all this model within Amazon Bedrock. There are so many features Bedrock has which might not go into much detail, but just know that Bedrock is a Bedrock for models. It's a library for different models that you can interuse. What I mean by interuse is you can use one model's output to feed into another model's output to improve the kind of information you get. Say you are trying to write an article, you are trying to write a, let me say, a 10 paper, or you're trying to write a PhD thesis, or you're trying to write an assignment. You can use one model to actually generate some content of that and use another model to maybe summarize it, because each of these models have different strengths and weaknesses. They perform very similarly, but some of them are much better in some things than some. Lastly, developers use AI models a lot, and Bedrock is one of the things that they use in combination with what's called Amazon Q Developer. The Amazon Q Developer is a command line tool that developers use to generate code. So instead of you to think about the code, you plan code, you look for sample codes on the internet, you go to Stack Overflow and all these other websites, you can simply tell the AI model to write an application for you that does, say, CV reviewer, okay, or an application that does creates coffee for you or mixes coffee for you. All these things you can do them from Q Developer in combination with the Bedrock and the selected model in Bedrock. I mentioned some models. I mentioned Llama model, I mentioned GPT model, I've also mentioned Nova model. Amazon Nova model is a family of models for text, image, and video generation. You can find all this within Amazon Bedrock. The other service in AWS that is also very, it can be used for GenAI is SageMaker. So SageMaker has been there for a very long time, but it's unique in its way of the fact that it allows you more flexibility than what Bedrock does. So for when you have unique data, you need a unique idea, this is your workshop to build, train, and deploy your own custom AI models. So SageMaker is mostly for professionals or experts, those who are machine learning engineers, okay, or AI engineers, okay, those are the ones that will be able to use SageMaker. But Bedrock is for everyone. I don't have to be an expert. A lawyer can use Bedrock, an accountant can use Bedrock, anyone can use Bedrock basically. All you need to do is to prompt it with what you want and it gives you the output. Okay, so those are the two major services you can use. There are other services you can use, but they are not GenAI related. For example, a tool like Amazon Recognition is an AI-based tool for image detection, but it's not GenAI related, but it's also an AI tool. Okay. So what can you build with GenAI? There are lots and lots of things you can build with GenAI. Okay. At the moment, there are so many products coming out. When I was preparing for this talk, what I had in mind was something around what we call MCP protocol. Okay, Model Context Protocol. MCP protocol is a protocol that is currently becoming the wave of the moment. Why? Because GenAI on its own and AI models on their own, they are not very useful. Okay? But when you plug GenAI into existing systems, then you see the power and the innovation you can build out of that. And to do that, a standard protocol has been created called MCP, Model Context Protocol. With this protocol, you can plug in GenAI models into existing systems. For example, you want to send an email at 2 a.m. or you want to send an email at 10 p.m. What you have to do nowadays is you open your email browser, you log into your email, you go to Compose, you type the sender, you type your subject, and then you type the message, and then you click on send. Now imagine you are able to just go to your phone or go to the app and say, send an email for me by 3 o'clock. Send it to my boss, telling my boss that I will not be available for work in the morning. Thank you, and send it. And just go to bed. And this AI model, or this AI agent, like it is called, is able to take this your message, go to your email, compose that message, get the email of your boss, and send that message. So that kind of workflow goes beyond just generating content. It's now able to act on your behalf. It's not able to take decisions based on instructions you have given it. Those kind of innovative implementations are not just for GenAI alone. It means a combination of different things coming together. So it means that that AI model needs to know your boss's email address. It needs to know the type of language to compose that message. It needs to also schedule that message. Some of these features are not in the AI model. They are in your email provider. For example, the schedule a message is not an AI model business. It's so most times you just send out the newsletter because that's what you have. But if you start using GenAI to understand your audience, understand their age category, understand their skill set, understand the level they are in the technology field, you can have a GenAI model look at all this data and say, you know what, you are going to send out 10 newsletters today. Okay, looking at 3-4 items in your newsletter, they look like they are for advanced users. We'll send this to the advanced users. Looking at content 5, 6, 7, they look like they are for more for beginners. We'll send them to beginners. What that does is that it creates better engagement for users in the system and not just sending out emails randomly because you want to send out a campaign. Same thing for marketing campaigns. You're trying to advertise a product or a brand. Okay. Now, most especially your demography is very important. What am I demography? Age category, where in life. So are they single? Are they married? Do they have children? Do they not have children? It will affect how much conversion you get for your business. Now, these are things GenAI can help you with. And then also, how do you speak to these people? What kind of language you use? What's the tone of language you use? If you're talking to older people, there's a tone of language you use. If you're talking to younger people, there's a tone of language you use. At the moment, these things are done by people who understand human behavior. But imagine passing all this burden into an AI model and saying, you know what, send out 2 marketing campaigns, send one to the Gen Z category, send one to senior citizens. It will automatically able to know, okay, I'm sending to Gen Z, then the kind of language it uses will be different from the one to send to the senior citizens. Same communication, different messages, and the same goal to be met. So that's personalized experiences for different demographics or even individual personalized experiences. Now, boost creativity. Now, instantly generate images for presentation, write first drafts of blog posts to brainstorm new product ideas. So this is something that is already in use. I personally use GenAI a lot to create images, mostly from my blog whenever I'm writing, and also some of the creatives. Even this creative you see on this slide at the moment was created from GenAI. Okay, so for people like us, someone like me, I'm not a very when it comes to pictures and colors, I'm not very good at it. Okay, now GenAI has been one of those things that has saved us a lot in terms of thinking about colors. How do we combine colors, red, white, green? How do these colors go together? Now I don't have to do that anymore. I just have to prompt it as much as I can to get what I want and use it for what I need it for. Okay? So basically, it will boost your productivity when you're able to generate images and even presentations. Okay? So I heard a story where a political figure, actually, not in Nigeria, used GenAI to generate some kind of government policies. And because GenAI has its flaws of mistakes sometimes, we call them hallucinations. He didn't go through it and read it in public, and everyone noticed that this was also GenAI. So that's just one of the pitfalls. But please take note that as much as you use GenAI, understand that it is called generative AI. It's not perfect. It's not human. Okay, so you have to always spend time to vet whatever content it generates for you. Okay, in the words of Benabogas when he came to Nigeria, the CTO of AWS, he said that AI creates the content, you decide what the content to be used for. So the Gen AI doesn't decide for you. It generates, you decide. Okay, so you are still at the driver's seat. It doesn't drive you, you drive it. So it doesn't just generate anything and you just copy and use that way. It's not a very good way of using generative AI. So as much as it will boost your productivity, you don't take what it says verbatim because it can make mistakes and it can do what we call hallucinations. And then lastly, it automates tasks like summarizing long documents or writing code, freeing you up to focus on bigger challenges. This is already becoming a big trend and a big thing, and this is something that everyone can actually take advantage of and ride the bandwagon on. I was trying to build a sample application. I used to be a PHP developer for almost 15 years, but I stopped writing PHP when I got into DevOps about 10 years ago. So I wanted to build an application in PHP just to test some kind of things I was doing in my work. And one option I had was to start writing the code from scratch. The other option I had was to generate a sample application. And I mean, I don't have time to write a code from scratch, so I used Generative to build a sample application, and that saved me almost 2 days of work. So within, I think, 30 minutes, I got an application on PHP with MySQL and everything working fine. Very simple application to register a user. So these are the kind of things that Gen AI can do for you. Now, don't forget, contexts and background knowledge always pays a lot more. I see people say, oh, Gen AI will change a lot of things, will take a lot of jobs. The truth is that if your foundation is weak, there's a very low chance you can get a lot of value in it. So that PHP application I'm talking about, I could use it, I could manipulate it because I understand PHP already. I have been writing HTML for over 20 years. I've been building websites for over 15 years. So when you generate that code, I mean, when the code was generated, funny enough, it didn't work. It was failing. So I had to use the knowledge and the skills I had initially to debug the code and fix the issues, and then it started working. So for someone who doesn't have any prior knowledge or understanding, they will not know what to do or how to fix it. So what is the moral of that? The moral of that is, whenever you're using Gen AI, number one, you need to have a goal, a very clear goal you are trying to achieve. Number two, you need to understand the basic concept of that thing. Now, I talked about not being good with graphics. Yes, I'm still not good with graphics. But when I use Gen AI to generate content or generate image, I know what I'm looking for in terms of color, in terms of arrangement, in terms of pattern, and everything. So even if I'm not an expert, I know what the goal I'm trying to achieve. So you need to know what you want to achieve very clearly, and then you need to have, in some cases, you need to have background knowledge. I don't have so much background knowledge in graphics. Though I used to use graphics, I used to do graphics work a little while, not professionally, okay? But when it comes to other technical things, so let me give my final example, which is, for example, in professional fields like being a doctor or being an engineer, and you tell Gen AI, oh, take a look at this image. Does this cell have cancer? And it says, yes, it has cancer. No, it doesn't have cancer. Okay, so mistakes like that happen. And you need to be careful to, like I said, have fundamental knowledge and understanding to be able to do these kind of things effectively and get the best results. So, before I finalize, so why does it matter, okay, as a woman in this field? My unique perspective is crucial for building a better future with AI by getting involved. Okay, you can build fairer technology, ensure AI is developed responsibly and work for everyone. So let me tell the personal story of this for me. So when I started my AI journey earlier this year, late last year, I was using ChatGPT to do a lot of work and testing and checking and understanding, and also the Meta. If you go to WhatsApp, you have the Meta AI chatbot that is there that you can interact with. I noticed a lot of biases. If I say, show me a man, it always shows me a white man, which for me was a problem. And then if I say, show me a Nigerian woman, the way it shows the Nigerian woman, it really shows the woman from the north. So these are biases that we ourselves will need to fix, okay? As a woman in tech, you have the voice to try and fix some of these things by saying, you know what, the way we train our models should be more diverse and not just generate one kind of content. Okay, if you look at the image in this slide, there's a black man there is a Chinese woman, and there's an Arabic man. To be able to generate this kind of images, you need to be very specific about your prompt. Because by default, these models generate Europeans or Americans, apparently, okay? So for these things to be fair, we all need to come together to also donate our voices and our skill sets. Now, solve meaningful problems. That's bring your ideas, challenges in healthcare, to challenges in healthcare, education, climate, and more. I just mentioned some of the examples and ways you can use AI to solve some very internal problems. Take a look at your environment, take a look at Nigeria. What are the problems we can use generative AI to solve, okay? Because it can solve a lot of problems. And then lead the next field of innovation. Become a leader in one of the most exciting fields in technology. Gen AI is the biggest. Let me give an example of how big Gen AI is. When Donald Trump became the president of the United States earlier this year, when he was inaugurated, he contributed $500 billion to build a data center for AI. 500 billion, that's like one of the single largest investments in a field in the United States. 500 billion. Okay, apart from the military, which gets most of the budget from the United States, it's very hard for the government to bring that amount of money for such project. They are building one of the largest data centers with one of the largest GPU assembly in the world. That's how big generative AI is coming. AWS is investing hundreds of billions. Every other cloud provider is investing hundreds of billions in Gen AI. So this is the best time to be alive. I mean, at the beginning of the innovation, because the truth is when the innovation is totally done, the field becomes more competitive, more difficult, and harder to get in. But now that it's still at its infancy and there's a lot of speculation, this is the time to get in. This is the time to get your skills right. This is the time to understand it. This is the time to start building, start feeling and building, working and building, so that you can become a sore thumb in the field of everyone trying to get their feet and get to understand what they need to do. And that is all from me. Thank you. So for you to get ready to dive in, you have the AWS Skill Builder program that can help you. There's a new website that was launched recently for Builder program, builder.aws.com. You can go there and it's actually a good place for you to learn. There's also AWS Party Rock, so you can just Google Party Rock in AWS. It's a platform where you can build applications for free, basically, for you to demonstrate certain things and see how you can use AI to build basic applications for everyday needs. Okay, and then you can connect with others. It's very important. This is a beautiful community, and communities are where you grow and learn and connect with both enthusiasts like you, experts who also, and then industry leaders who are already doing this stuff in the real world. So it doesn't look like everything is just talk, and nothing makes sense and nothing is very practical up to you. So connect, you share, and then you learn. Thank you very much.
When you're about to go, pin the mic.
So this is the best time to get into this new innovation. This is the best time to learn. When the place is not saturated, this is the best time so that by the time it becomes saturated, you're already a voice. So next week, that was leader, first hero in Africa. So next we're going to invite our trainer.
Can I pin this mic?
He's a senior DevOps person in the person of DevOps engineer in the person of Mr. Kenneth Alabi.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hi, everybody. Okay, it's nice to see all of us here. That was a very, very, very awesome section, and very, very brief. Now, I'm kind of feeling like I think I have too much information for you people because that was brief and then that was straightforward, but the whole idea with what I have or what we are going to do here now is more or less like breaking everything down for us, right? So that we kind of understand the whole concept of what is explaining, right? So we are still on the same course. We are talking about Gen AI and then we are talking about AWS, and it's very, very important that we can be able to understand the two of them together. So how are we going to do this? Should I send you my slide or should connect this? Should we connect? You say? I join on my system. Okay. I think Karen is still presenting. So. Okay, so. All right. All right, so I'm going to try and be fast, so try and follow me as fast as you can, and ask me questions wherever you are confused about anything. So we're going to be talking about generative AI, unlocking the power of AWS. So now, first thing I'm going to do is I'll take out AI, and then I'll explain AI. Then we'll discuss on how AI landed down to generative AI. And then before we now join that with...
Since you're using your system, you can actually sit down.
Sit down. Oh, okay. Like sit down here and face... Oh, okay, okay. They want to make life easier for me and that's better. All right, so... Okay, I think this looks very nice. So we're going to separate AI, right? And then we will talk about how AI got to generative AI. Then we'll now go to AWS. Do you understand? So now, today we are going to be talk about AI terminologies. Then from there we'll go to Gen AI, like I said. Then we'll talk about AWS. Then we join AWS we join Gen AI with AWS. Then we do question and answer. Then we'll do a fun quiz. Yeah, and the quiz comes with a prize. So generative AI development process. So this is like a process. If you want to understand everything that has to do with Gen AI with AWS, right? Then you have to understand key AI terminologies. So you need to understand like what AI is, what ML is. ML, like our last speaker explained ML, machine learning, briefly, but we're going to talk about it like, then we'll talk about ANN, we'll talk about DL, that's deep learning. You understand the meaning of all these things. Gen AI, foundation model, LLM, NLP, transformer model, and GPT. See, by the end of this section, you are going to not only know the meaning of these things, you are going to be able to explain it and tell someone else about it. Now, we'll talk about how this relates to real-world examples, and then we'll now go to exploring AWS generative AI. So AWS on its own is using the generative AI, right? So now, they use generative AI in places like Bedrock, Amazon Bedrock, like he said. We use generative AI in SageMaker, we use it in Code Whisper. Code Whisper is the same thing as Amazon Q. And then we'll talk about using it in Lex, Poly, Transcribe, and Nova. These are tools that already exist in Amazon that uses generative AI, right? So we'll showcase their unique capability and potential use cases. Then from there, we'll now identify like real-world applications where we can use these applications in. So we'll talk about businesses, healthcare providers, like, because the problem that we have in terms of learning is that most people, when they learn vaguely. Do you understand? Bring whatever it is you are learning to your day-to-day life activity, bring it down to your, when I wake up in the morning, how can AI help me? How can generative AI help me? If you bring it down to that, you can be able to like think of innovative ways you can use generative AI to increase your business or even make money generally. So we will discuss about using Gen AI in healthcare, entertainment companies, educational institutions, and then other places. Then after that, we'll now emphasize on the AWS advantage. Now, let me explain to you, generative AI is not owned by AWS at all. Do you understand? But AWS is leveraging on the tools to create stuff that we can use and make life easier for us, right? So when you hear Gen AI from AWS standpoint, it means like we're not talking about generative AI on its own, and now we're not looking at it from a service provider like AWS, right? All of us here knows the meaning of AWS. Is there anybody here that doesn't know the meaning of AWS? Eh? You don't feel shy in my class. Yeah, okay. So the most important thing is this: when you are learning, ensure that you understand what the person is teaching you, because you might not see the person again, and any information you get here is very, very important for you. So when we say AWS, we are talking about Amazon Web Services, right? Amazon Web Services. Now, Amazon Web Services, it's like all of us here know Amazon, right? But most people know Amazon as an e-commerce store. But on the aspect of development, software development, Amazon has services they offer, right? So that's why it's called Amazon Web Services. So they are offering you services that you can use for the web. Do you understand? So Amazon is one of the biggest cloud providers. They provide services, they render services to you through the cloud. Now, when you hear the word cloud, we're not talking about this cloud here. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about using services that before now, you can only use them physically. Like before now, if you want to host a site, you need to have what is called a server, right? And that server needs to be somewhere that has constant electricity. Do you understand? So now, they thought about a way to solve this problem so that you don't have to buy these servers and keep in your house. You can use this, they buy the servers themselves and they keep it somewhere and they make it available for you through online, right? So now, that is where the cloud comes in. So they use the cloud because cloud is like something that is everywhere. If you're in Nigeria, you're seeing the cloud, right? If you're in US, you're seeing the cloud. So it's like the word cloud there, it's like something that is everywhere. Generative, it's not like different from a particular region. So are you understanding where cloud came into the whole picture? So now, they use this cloud and then they offer us services. That is where we have AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Is that one clear? All right, so now, we have been hearing the word AI, 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 and that's the center of this whole discussion. But now, we are looking at it from AWS standpoint. So we are looking at it from a point where Amazon is providing these services, some services for us that we can use, and then we don't have to build those services from scratch. Is it making sense? Any questions? Okay, so now, what I'm going to do, or what I'm about to do is, I'm about to explain AI terminologies. That now we are taking away Amazon, we are taking away AWS. So anything we are talking about, don't put AWS in it. I'll tell you when we bring in AWS. Do you understand? So now, a lot of us have heard the word artificial intelligence, right? That is the standpoint of everything. I remember when the first speaker was talking, he said, everything begins from the AI. Now, in the AI, it has two branches, which is the deep learning and the machine learning. And we are going to talk about all these things, right? But now, we are starting from the origin, and the origin is artificial intelligence, right? So now, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is like giving computers the ability to mimic human thinking, right? It's the brain behind self-driving cars. How many of us have heard about self-driving cars? Have you ever wondered why this is kind of possible? Like, you know all the dramas that happen on the road. So imagine being in a car that drives itself and it's telling you that I am safe, just be sleeping in the back of your car and then I'm driving you. You understand? So you have to think about, when you think about self-driving cars, you think about how is this possible, and you understand that they are trying to achieve something. They are trying to mimic human thinking. So what is a normal human being that drives your car or drives a car meant to do when a certain situation occurs? That is the thing that self-driving cars are being trained on. Do you understand? So when you hear the word self-driving cars, it's not rocket science, because that's one thing that we do in this part of the world. We think that everything is rocket science. We think that everything is beyond our reach. We think that everything is beyond our imagination because it's not something we built on our own. But if you understand the concept, the idea behind it, you understand that you can actually do it on your own, right? So understand what is AI. Artificial intelligence is giving computers the ability to mimic human thinking. Human thinking. So that means whatever a human can do when they are driving, you should be able to like build something AI related that can do the same thing, right? And that thing automatically automates your car for you, meaning that the artificial intelligence is driving your car for you, right? So that is AI and car driving. So it gives you decision when to stop, or like a virtual assistant that can help you with your tasks like Alexa, answering your questions. For example, AI powers Netflix, and the first speaker talked about Netflix, right? So now you're watching a movie, you watch the movie, and then you are done watching that. It's actually advising you on the next movie, something that is related to the one you watched before. All these things are based on human thinking, based on what a person likes, right? So you understand this. The people that were in my former class, I told you guys that when you talk about artificial intelligence, when you talk about the word artificial intelligence, it's actually, you have to focus on intelligence and then you focus on artificial, then you bring it together. So intelligence is like someone that is smart on a particular field, right? Now artificial is replicating that same thing, right? But now we are using machines to do it. So that is where artificial intelligence comes in. So you are training this thing on a particular intelligence, and you have to be intelligent in that aspect to be able to train it. If you don't watch, let's say you download Netflix, you don't watch any movie at all, do you think that they can recommend movies that you like? Do you think so? So why is that not possible? Because they don't know what you like. So the AI is not even aware. It cannot give you that artificial intelligence because it doesn't know what you like. And for it to even be able to give you something that you like, you need to watch like 2 movies that are similar, and then they can be able to say, oh, okay, it's like this guy is like very specific on this thing. So are you understanding the whole AI thing? Now, I said that AI is at the helm of affairs. That's the master of the whole thing. Now, we are bringing, inside the AI, we have 2 branches. We have machine learning, and then we have deep learning. This is not rocket science. When we say machine learning, it's not rocket science. It's actually like a machine learning these things for you, right? That is where machine learning comes in. So machine learning is a subset of AI where computers learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Now, Netflix, I'm using Netflix again as an example. Netflix is not programmed to learn about your movie specifics, right? It's not programmed to learn about your movie specifics. Like, they did not program it while they were programming it. They said, learn about Kenneth's love for movies. That's not what they did, right? So what they did is that they programmed the whole thing to learn about individuals' movie specifics, right? So now, they don't need, every time a user creates an account, they need to reprogram the whole thing. No. The machine that's already existing in it is doing the learning. And how does it learn about you? How does it learn about the kind of movies you like? It is through the data that is being fed to it, right? And that is where it's saying that it's where computers learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Like, you're not programming this thing to learn Kenneth's type of movies, right? It is programmed to learn any user's type of movies. So that is why the movies that Netflix will advise for me is not the same movies they will advise for you, but it's the same AI model that is doing that, right? So how does it know the movies to specify for me and not the one for you? It's because it has gathered the data that I fed to it. And I did not feed it to those data knowingly. I fed it by watching some specific type of movies, right? So that is machine learning example. So now we have like an ability for a computer to learn about you or learn about your activities just by you performing those activities, right? And I know that in the last class I told you guys that you can actually reprogram your ChatGPT or something like that, for example. You can program it, you can retrain it, not reprogram it, retrain it. You can retrain it to actually do a specific thing, right? You can have like a section that does a specific thing. If I open my ChatGPT, I have a tab that I call myself in my ChatGPT. So that particular tab, what it does for me, you'll see it here. I have a tab that I call myself. Now, what this particular tab does for me is that it kind of learns about me. Yeah? So it kind of learns, I train it to learn about me. If you come to that tab and just ask that tab, tell me more about myself. Just type, tell me more about myself. You cannot type this kind of a thing in ChatGPT and it will give you any information that makes sense, right? It is because I have trained it with my data. So just typing, tell me more about myself, is going to breathe out a lot of things that is about me, because over the time, I've been training it with my information, with my data, with kind of things I like and stuff like that, right? So that is the same thing that machine learning tries to replicate, right? So it's trying to like learn from the data. They don't need to reprogram it. So now, imagine teaching a computer to recognize cats, right, in photos by showing it thousands of cat pictures. It learns the pattern itself. For instance, Spotify uses machine learning to curate personalized music playlists. Now, if you feed AI images of yourself, like 1,000 images of yourself. Okay, there was a fun activity that happened when Meta introduced Meta. You know, when you ask Meta a question like, tell me all you know about, you type your name there. A lot of people, when this technology came out, a lot of people, when you type your name, it tells you that, sorry, I don't know so and so person, or this person is not a popular person. But funny enough, I did something and I trained Meta to know about me. And if you type Meta from any of your phone or anywhere you are, ask Meta about me, it's going to feed you information. Do you understand? The major point I want you to understand or take away from this is that machine learning is like a computer that learns from data. They are already written programs to learn. Now, how does it learn? It learns from the data you feed to it. And then we talk about the next, inside this machine learning now, we're going to talk about a branch of machine learning. So machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence, right? So it goes like a structure. This is artificial intelligence. It has two branches. It has machine learning, it has deep learning. Now, inside machine learning, we have this artificial neural network. What did I say? So now, the artificial neural network, what it does is, think of this like a digital brain with interconnected nodes, that's the neurons, right? That process data to find patterns. So NNS are used in apps like Google Photos, which can identify faces or objects in your pictures, grouping all your beach photos together. Always ask yourself, when you see a particular thing, don't be fascinated about it so much. Yes, you can be like, wow, so this thing can do this thing. But at the same time, what I do is I ask myself, what is the underlying technology behind this thing? Why is it that when you go to Google Photo and then you see that Google Photo can be able to like separate pictures for you based on people, like you can get a picture of someone that has this face generally. It can separate pictures for you based on events and stuff like this. All these things are done by training this AI in it to be able to like interconnect with the nodes, like understand what does this thing have that this thing have in common, that this other one have in common. It could be the faces, right? So it can categorize all the faces that has this kind of a thing in one side, right? It can be the events, which is like a beach picture, and it can categorize it in one side. Now, the technology that does this is artificial neural network, not a rocket science. Are we understanding this? Is it making sense? Remember, I said we are separating AWS now. We are keeping AWS one side. We are going to pick it up later. But now we're understanding the whole thing about AI first, and then we'll talk about generative AI, and then we'll now meet this on the side. Now, let's talk about deep learning. Deep learning, like I said, who can tell me what branch is deep learning under? Under artificial intelligence, yeah. So now, if you understand, if you have a pictorial form of this, AI, machine learning, deep learning, under machine learning, you have the ANN. Now, under deep learning, we are talking about a different kind of learning, right? So now, the other one is machine, this other one is deep learning. So what is deep learning? Deep learning is a more advanced form of machine learning, right? A more advanced form of machine learning, using many layers of neural networks to track complex tasks. Deep learning powers voice assistants like Siri, which can understand your accent and respond naturally, right? Or apps like Deep Art that turns your photo into Van Gogh styles. So now, in the last class, we did something. We turned one of the picture to something that looks like an art, right? And then we now turn it to be able to talk. These things is not done by machine learning because machine does not know about this picture. Remember that machine learning needs to learn from data, right? So until you feed the data to machine, it doesn't know what you're talking about, right? So now this is deep learning. What does deep learning do? Deep learning tackles complex tasks. Like it can be able to, it already has like a learning power that understands most of these things that you want. All you need to do is just feed it something and tell it to turn into this thing. Netflix does not use deep learning because Netflix needs data, so it uses machine learning, right? ChatGPT uses deep learning because ChatGPT already has enough information that it wants. All you need to do is to tell it what you want, right? So what I want is turn my picture to look like an artwork. So now it's not going to start asking you questions like what is an artwork or stuff like that, because it already has this information. That's what deep learning is all about. Now, from deep learning now, we are branching out to generative AI. This is the part of AI that became very, very popular. And that is because before now, like, AI did not come out today. Actually, it did not come out like 5 years ago. AI has been in existence for a very long time, right? But until we got to generative AI, AI became a popular thing because it is now easier for everybody to use. And let me tell you, one thing that makes any product popular is once a common man can be able to use it. Make use of it easily without having like some technical jargons around it, right? So that is where generative AI came in. Now, generative AI, what is generative AI? This is the AI that creates something new. Just like the former speaker said, it is an AI that creates something new, which means something that might literally does not exist before. Do you understand? Something that might not have been in existence before, right? And it does this using technologies that we are going to talk about, yeah? So when you hear the word generative AI, it means an AI that generates something new. That's why it's called generative. It can generate ideas. It can generate pictures. If you go to AI and say, generate a picture of, if you go to ChatGPT, for instance, generate a picture of Donald Trump flying in the air. It's going to generate a picture of Donald Trump with maybe wings, and you will see him in the sky. Does it mean that Donald Trump has actually flown in the air before himself? So are you understanding the idea behind it? It means he's taking the data that he has and he's generating something new. So what did he do? He knows that for something to fly, it needs like wings, right? He knows that you said Donald Trump, so he knows the image and the face of Donald Trump based on the data that has been fed to it, right? And then you said something that is flying, and where does things fly? In the sky and not on the land, right? So what does he do? He picks this information and then he generates this image for you. Do you understand? And that is where AI became popular, because these things are things that we want to see, right? But we don't know how to see them or do them. But now we have something that can pick up these ideas and give us what we want, right? And that is why it became popular. So we can generate art. We can compose music. You know that we have AI tools that compose music now. So example, you can use tools like Del-E to create stunning images from prompts like a cat wearing a space suit. A cat has not gone to space before, but now you can generate a cat that wears a space suit. You can even say a cat that is inside a spaceship. So now, where are we using this generative AI? So businesses use generative AI to design things like logo, write marketing copy automatically, and create any fun idea that you have in your head or something like that. So which means you can see something and you have a crazy idea about it and then you run with it. All of us have seen videos of like the one that is popular now. It's like every 2 weeks, Nigerians invent a kind of a popular thing with AI. 2 weeks ago, it was like, I am generated with prompts. I was created with prompts. Or some months ago, I was created with prompts. Later on, it now became like, Born the Witch, or whatever it is they call it, and then you now say something behind it, and it will now say, Release the Witch, right? All of us have seen something like that. Now, the new thing that is trending is like, using AI to generate like news where a government official is saying something that you wish that should exist, right? So all these things are like wishful thinkings.
So people are using generative AI to create wishful thinkings, things that you wish or you think that this thing will be fun. The one that I saw that was very funny is like government announcing that every man is now permitted to marry more than one wife. So it's like your ideas can go as wild as you want it to go. And these things are now possible, right? Like I said, if only AI knows who you are, or of course you can train it on who you are, but it doesn't, on a public notice, AI can know Donald Trump without you feeding it information about Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is like a public figure, right? Then you can feed AI information about yourself and then make it generate stuff about you. Like you can upload a picture of yourself and say, turn this picture to become a flying image, right? So now he doesn't know, he doesn't care about who you are. He's taking the picture you gave to him and he's turning it to a flying image. And if you notice something, in all these generative AIs, something is peculiar. The images that are used or the videos that are used are not videos or images of existing governments, right? Like in those news, it's not images of existing governments, that's one. Two, it's not images of an existing, let's say television channel or news channel. You cannot go to AI and say, create a news from Channels TV saying that the president is dead, right? And it's going to tell you that we don't generate data of real individuals, right? But it's going to generate a news outlet, maybe call it a funny name, and then announcing that the president is dead, right? To show that this is artificial. That's the whole concept around the artificial nature. So now, let me not go far into discussing this. When you hear the word generative AI, understand that it is an AI that generates something new, something that does not or may not have been in existence, right? So that's generative AI. So now, inside deep learning, we have what is called foundation model. These are massive pre-trained AI models that can do many tasks, like a Swiss Army knife for AI. They are trained on vast data sets and can fine-tune for specific jobs, right? For instance, a foundation model might power both a chatbot and a text summarizer. So now these are like models that are already pre-trained with information, and then they use this information to generate whatever it is you want it to generate. Now, this foundation model, when we pick back, remember we kept AWS somewhere. When we pick back AWS, you will see where AWS is using foundation model. So AWS is not generating this AI whole thing from scratch, but they are using this information you are learning about now to create things that we can use, right? That's where Gen AI comes into play. So now, foundational models are like pre-trained AI models that can do many tasks, right? That's what foundational AI is. And then we have large language models, which is LLM, right? A large language model is like a type of foundational model specializing in language tasks. So now we have a model that is specifically for languages. And what they can do is they can be able to change a language for you. You can tell AI to write something in English and tell it to write it for you in French. But I'm sure a lot of people don't know the full meaning of GPT. Yeah, so GPT means Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And it came out from Transformer itself. See, if you see the diagram of how this whole AI thing goes, it's actually a very interesting and complex thing. Okay, so let's look at real life example of everything AI, everything that we've talked about now in terms of AI, right? I think it's the network. It's not my network. It's the general network. Maybe it's because of the rain. It's not from this system. Or it's standing itself. Okay. So should we connect to? would you connect the system itself to Starlink, to your phone? You've connected it. No, you want to connect my system is fine. It's the board itself. Yeah, the board itself. Okay. Yeah. So we are back online. Any questions so far? Any question? All right. So now, I said, let's talk about a real world example. I've been giving examples here, but let's talk about a real world example. A small business owner uses like an LLM and a large language model powered chatbots, right? So the chatbot is built with NLP. Who can tell me what NLP means? Okay, yes. And then it uses like NLP and a GPT. Who can tell me what GPT means? So you know that when you now hear ChatGPT, it's not, ChatGPT is now a name, but ChatGPT is like the idea. The actual people that owns ChatGPT is like OpenAI. So OpenAI is the name of the company that owns ChatGPT, but it's like an idea. So the whole idea, what he's saying is like a chat that uses a generative pre-trained transformer. So now when you hear ChatGPT, you can actually educate somebody in that. You can tell somebody, do you know that this thing you call ChatGPT is just like a chat that uses a model that is called generative pre-trained transformer. That's the meaning of GPT there. So now, a small business owner uses like an LLM powered chatbot to answer customer inquiries. Now later on we'll talk about an AWS services that does something like this. So now, you can have a business, train a particular AI under your business. Now, you don't need to have, some websites when you go, you have like a frequent asked question. Under it, like you have like questions that people can ask about this thing. So it explains those things. Now, modern websites don't have a frequent asked question. What they have is a chatbot on the side. So you click on the icon, it opens, right? And then you ask it any question, and it answers you that question. So now the whole idea behind it is that everything about the business has already been trained by that chatbot, so that chatbot can be able to answer questions that are related to that business. Do we understand that? So now that's what it can give you a 24/7 customer inquiries, thereby eliminating the need to have like customer service. And even if you have to have customer service, before now, companies used to hire like hundreds customer services because they have a lot of people making inquiry. Now, they streamline the kind of information or the kind of thing most people ask for, and then they have like a way to answer that. So they'll ask you, is your question all about, like for instance, if you call MTN now, they'll ask you, is your question all about recharging your line? Is your question all about, do you have inquiry about, let's say, your data finishing or something like that. If any of this is yes, you press 1. You press 1. What it does for you is it gives you a pre-trained answer on questions like that, right? So imagine if this is your question, you don't need to talk to a customer representative, you just get your answer straightforward. Now, if it's only when you now need to talk to a customer representative because your question is unique, that's when you select that aspect, right? So now, that is what AI does for you. If you have a website or if you have a business that is pre-trained on that your business, you can have a chatbot that answers questions for you on that business. Now, you remove the ability to hire many customer services to answer these questions. So you can have like 2 customer services. So now, it's only when a customer does not get satisfaction from the answers given that they can now seek the services of a customer service. And maybe in a whole day, it might be just 2 people doing that. But before, imagine 100 people doing that. So you need to have like 100 customer service in order to be able to pull this off. So this is what AI is doing for us. So a graphic designer uses generative AI to create unique logos for clients in minutes without taking, before now you have to book like a logo designer, start discussing your idea. And funny thing is, it's just the same thing. Like if you wanted to design your logo before, you have to sit down a logo designer, you start telling the person, so I want something creative, I want something that is unique, I want something that is abstract, I want something that is. Now, by so doing, the person is trying to create the image that you want in your head. I want 2 people that are holding hands, or I want 2 hands that are touching each other. There is this logo that you see in every meetings of like hands that move together, that is like rounded hands, a hand upon the other hand, upon the other hand, upon the other hand. So this whole thing is somebody's idea, and then the person generated it and put the image, and almost every meetings are using it to show that, to signify unity, that all of us are united. So now, you can decide to have something unique now. I can decide that, oh no, this thing is too much. What about a hand on top of another hand, on top of another hand, on top of another hand? Because somebody have not snapped that picture, I might not be able to see it, so I might need like a designer to do it for me. But now with generative AI, I don't need a designer to do it for me, I just need AI to generate an idea by telling it what I want. Are you seeing what AI is doing for us? So now, let's talk about generative AI timeline, how we got to the whole generative AI. So in 2016, actually, that's when we had a breakthrough in transformer models. Remember I told you, the idea of AI itself has been in existence for a very long time. But it was a very, very vague and funny idea. When you tell somebody, imagine a situation where something can behave like a human being. It was a very vague, vague idea. Until we now have what is called transformer models. And these transformer models came out like in 2016. It gave birth to what is called GPT. And we had like the first GPT, we had GPT-3, which demonstrated a powerful text generation, an ability for it to generate text that does not exist. Then in 2020, we have Del-E, which introduces like AI generated images. So we now have an ability to generate not just text, but images. Then in 2022, ChatGPT becomes a viral success. It's like people now started using it like, oh, ChatGPT, don't you know if you want ChatGPT, everything has to do with ChatGPT. It became like a viral success. But this whole idea has been in existence. If you Google when OpenAI was created, you will know that part of the people that created OpenAI when it started was actually Elon Musk. He was like part of the founders. But before it became a success that it is now, most of them had already sold their shares, right? So, but they believed in the idea until it became the success it is now. So this is like the timeline of how the whole thing happened. Now in 2023, AWS releases Amazon Nova, which is based off of foundation models. We talked about foundation models, right? And foundation models is like already a pre-trained AI, like they are highly trained already to do a specific number of things. Now, in 2025, which is the year we are in, we are having a widespread enterprise adoption of generative AI. Now, we have a lot of products that are using generative AIs. And all these products did not start, all these products are, all of them are feeding off this whole thing that we've been talking about. They are feeding off AI and machine learning or deep learning. So either they go to machine learning or they go to deep learning. If they are going to deep learning, they are feeding up of generative AI, and they are feeding up of NLP, or they are feeding up in GPT. All of them comes down to what we have now, the success we have in generative AI now. And that is why we have like a widespread. Now, are we all clear with what we have explained so far? Are we all clear with what we have explained so far? Okay. Is there any question? Any question? Yeah.
So my question is, how to train this AI?
Okay. So her question is how to train this AI. Now, I gave you an example of training my ChatGPT. I did not train my whole ChatGPT. I trained a tab in my ChatGPT. You know how to create it. All of you know how to create a tab in ChatGPT, yeah? You know. When you click on create a new chat, that's a tab. You're creating a new tab, just like you're creating a new tab to see something. So now, if you want to train a tab in ChatGPT, you are training it by passing it information. You can tell it, store this information and answer questions from it, right? You can even train your AI, your ChatGPT, using your business, right? You can feed it information about your business. Tell it everything that you know. Remember, it's artificial intelligence. Everything that you know about your business, and then ask it questions about that your business, and it will give you awesome response about that business, right? Now, this is, I'm telling you, easiest way to train something so that you see that you're training something. You can train a tab in your ChatGPT to know stuff about your family, your business, your life, whatever. I am someone that offers services, so I train my tab in terms of the services I offer, right? So it's easy. Now, if you tell me to send my bio, before, when somebody says send my bio, I used to have like a default copy of my bio, and then I just copy it and send it to you, right? But now it's like unique for everybody I want to send it to. So I can say, send my bio to, I'm trying to send my bio to a group of people that does this. Write my bio to model to us to suit this kind of idea, right? Do you understand? So it's going to write my bio on that. Now, the same thing goes with CV. Back in the days, they will tell you that you need to have different CV, different resume for every job that you apply. You have to make it unique to every job that you apply. And then you imagine you apply to 20 jobs in a day. You need to create like 20 CVs in a day. What's that one? I beg. Just do a default CV, paste. Anyone that call you, they call you. Anyone that did not call you, they did not call you. Life goes on. So, but now, you can train AI based on your CV. Feed your AI with your CV information, starting from the beginning to the end. And then, if you see a job opportunity, tell it, you have something like Canva, of course. So you have like your CV, create a copy, a different copy of it. Tell it to, using this job specification, generate a nice looking CV or resume that matches this job opportunity. Remember, now AI knows that you worked with Amazon, for instance, right? So it doesn't need to say, right where you work. It's going to generate a CV that has even your past job experience, right? The only thing is now that under it, when you have like the tasks that you did in those jobs, it's going to rewrite it and tailor it in such a way that the activities you performed in this company matches with the job requirements that this company is looking for. So it gives you an opportunity to do copy and paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. You generate a new CV, you download it, you apply. And that is training AI. You are training that particular section to know more about you in terms of your resume, right? So you can use it. Now, we'll talk about using, because now if you're a big business, you don't want to train a particular tab in ChatGPT to give it information about your business, because how does other people that uses that your business get that information? That's the problem. So the ChatGPT aspect is just for your own consumption. You want this, anytime you want this, you just come in and do it, right? But now, having like the services we are going to talk about that Amazon provides is like training AI using these services to do this particular thing for your business. Do you understand? So we're going to come to that. So did I answer your question in terms of training this thing? Yeah.
So, what you're trying to say that if I've asked them AI or something, if I want to ask a question on that particular topic, I should go and use that particular tab.
Yes. When you use a separate tab, you don't need to scatter this. A lot of people don't even know how to use the whole ChatGPT of a thing. A lot of people use ChatGPT. In fact, ChatGPT now have what is called even like a folder. They have like projects where you can create like projects. So you can create like a folder and start asking it question based on that particular thing and all whatnot. So it's if you know how to use it, it's going to be very, 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 very helpful. Like very, very helpful. If you're a lawyer, for instance, and you know how to use ChatGPT, you can generate all this Chat and Bay lawyer. Generate what the kind of article you're supposed to write or write-up you're supposed to write to free somebody from police station. And then you feed it on that particular tab. And every time you want to generate, you just type the new person's name, type the offense they committed, and say generate Chat and Bay. And it will generate it will generate a new one for you. So, and it's going to generate it based on the information that you fed it, like the way you like to write your stops, the way you like your sentences to be, the way it's supposed to be, because ChatGPT is not a lawyer. But like you're already a lawyer, a trained lawyer, now you're training ChatGPT to help you to make your works faster, so you don't need to start writing all this thing again. You understand? Yeah. Yeah, of course. When you become wiser on how to use ChatGPT, the best thing is erase it, because why I would say erase it is because they have a memory cap. If you're not using the Pro version, of course I'm using Pro version. So if you're not using the Pro version, they have a memory cap, and then once you fill that memory, you need to start deleting stops. So it's better that you delete the stops you don't need now, so you have a fresh memory and a fresh start with whatever information you need. So yeah, we are learning, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so in this life, people don't care about your life. They care about their life. That's why it is actually advised that you start your own business. It's not because working for somebody is not possible, it's not good, but you are at the mercy of that person, right? Your boss is going to fire you not because he does not like you, but maybe he doesn't have money to pay you again. So you're not going to tell me that my job is at stake because you don't have money. Yes, it's at stake because he doesn't have money. So if you're somebody that is working for somebody, every day when you pray, you also remember your boss in your prayer. Because if he doesn't have money, that's enough to sack you. So now, if you can do what you can do, or if you can do the job that he employs you for, do you think it's wise that he employs you? Even you yourself will know that I'm due for sacking. Back in the days when I was like working for a physical company, one thing I do, and it's an advice for you here, if you work for a physical company, make sure that there is something that you are very, very special on. Something that you can do, only you can do. The only thing that will make a boss to beg you when you say, sir, I want to resign, is because you offer exceptional services. You offer services that makes life easier for them, the company, or this thing. So now, if I have an AI that can generate logo for me, why do I need to pay you to generate logo for me? If I have an AI that can reduce the services of a customer care, why do I need to employ 100 people to? These things are money you can save and channel in other things. See, funny enough, it's easier for a boss, like, let me give you an instance. This is away from the training now. You might have a CEO that is very wealthy, right? Very, very wealthy. And then he pays you 100K as a salary every month, right? Every month. So in a year, you make like 1.2 million, yeah? And this your boss attends like a church service. The man goes to church, they are doing bazaar, they are doing bonanza, whatever it is. The man stands on the pulpit and offers 10 million naira to the church. Church is not doing anything to him, for him. But to him, it's his money, and he wants to spend it how he wants to spend it, right? So he spend it that way. And you that does the work or helps in the services and makes this thing, it's like hearing this thing and say, whoa, this man is paying this amount. That, for me to make even this 10 million that this man donated in one day, it's like you have to work there for almost like 10 years. Do you understand? So now, the whole idea is this. You are not, he's the person that owns the company, he's the person that owns the money, and he wants to save money and spend it how he wants to spend it, because that particular donation is how he wants to spend it. He might be doing it because of his love for God, he might be doing it because he wants to show off, he might be doing it for whatever reason, but that's what he wants. So he's paying you salary because you're offering services, and he's paying you based on what people are agreed. So you are not supposed to be angry that he spends that kind of money on the church and he pays you what he pays you, right? Because it's his money. So now imagine if your boss has a way to get this job done without needing your services. Don't you think he will come and fire you and add this 100,000 back into the money he has in his account? It's a logical sense. It's not because we're trying to be human. It's because I think we are even trying to be human, because you are talking about yourself now. You have to love yourself the way you love another person and stuff like that. So that is the whole idea of this. So now it brings you to the question, what do I need to do to be relevant in this age and time of ChatGPT, in this age and time of generative AI? That is the question you now ask yourself. And the way you will become relevant is to have this information. Now, let me give you an instance. You are a graphic logo designer. That's what you have been doing, and it has been giving you money for ages, right? And then all of a sudden, there is AI that does this kind of a thing for them. At this point in time, not everybody knows about AI, right? Now, that information, let's say before now, I tell you to design logo for me. It takes you 1 week to design AI logo for me. Now, with the information I have in AI, being a logo designer or a designer, I can be able to design 50 awesome logos in minutes for a company without having to start brainstorming and doing and asking, is this one okay, and stuff like that. 50 different logos. Now, when you present this thing to a company that's employed your services, of course, they don't know about ChatGPT, that's why. When you present this thing to them, they are now like wowed, right? And you did it in a very short time. Now, do you think if they have that kind of services again, they will not call you? Do you understand? So this training we are doing is to educate you, because the truth is, I can tell you for a fact, almost every week, anybody that comes close to me within a week does not know about ChatGPT. Like, I'm talking about ChatGPT itself. Almost every week, anybody that comes close to me does not know, have not used. Maybe they have heard, but does not even know they need to download it on their phone, or they have it in App Store. Does not even know that they can ask this question. Like, for instance, now, some of you here do not know that you can train a tab in ChatGPT. But that is an information you've gathered now, and you can use it to your advantage. And that is why we have programs like this. And that's why it's important that you attend, because information that you learn is something that is going to make you smarter than the next person. Next person that you meet outside can be saying, I know ChatGPT now, it's an app on Play Store. You can tell the person, ChatGPT is actually just just like a chat app that is a generative pre-trained transformer. Do you know, if you speak this English to somebody that has not heard this thing, the person has, like, generative pre-trained transformer. If you tell somebody, do you have chat generative pre-trained transformer? The person will tell you no. They have, like, I can pick your phone, you have ChatGPT on your phone, and I saw it and I gave it back to you. And I said, do you have chat generative pre-trained transformer on your phone? The person will tell you capital no, because they don't know that GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. They just know it as GPT. But you now ask the person again, do you have ChatGPT? Yes, I have it. Are you seeing the difference between the two information? So now, let's say, for instance, I want to meet a company and I want to tell them that I can train their model. I can tell you that, I can tell the company, so I will not be like, I will use ChatGPT to train your model. And they'll be like, oh, I have ChatGPT on my phone. I can say, I can use a chat generative pre-trained transformer to train your business model. Now, if I say this thing in this big English like this, I just said ChatGPT, but said it in the cool meaning, and you did not understand what I said. And you say, okay, so what can happen? All these things are the importance of knowledge and attending programs like this, right? So yeah, let's go back to our class. Now, we have talked about AI. We've talked about the things that build AI. When you hear someone say, I'm an AI engineer, the person is not a specialist in using ChatGPT. That's not what it means. An AI engineer is someone that can use the technology, the underlying technologies behind the AI itself to create awesome things. An AI engineer is someone that knows how to use machine learning, is someone that knows how to use deep learning, is someone that can make use of GPT, is someone that can use generative AI, is someone that can use LLM. You know, when I started the whole AI stuff, this LLM sounded very, very big, cumbersome in my ears. It's like large language model, LLM, very big. Do you understand? And to many people, it still sounds very big to them. But it's just a model that specializes on languages. That is why it's called large language model. So it's like a model that has a large database of languages. That's just what it means. Do you understand? So it is paramount that you understand this whole thing and it makes sense to you, and that's what gives you a leverage over others. So when you see an AI engineer, is someone that can use all these things to his core units, right? Now, we, or those that are not AI engineers, can still use AI, right? So now they can use generative AI. And now, how do they use generative AI? They use generative AI to do some stuff. Now, the question now is, which is why we are here, how do we use generative AI from AWS standpoint? Now, did we see how we got to this point now? So the whole topic about AWS standpoint in the whole generative AI is not rocket science. We are trying to now see, okay, we now know about generative AI. We now know what they do. Now, how do we use AWS to do these generative AIs, right? So generative AI, a transformative technology, is empowering businesses across industries to streamline processes, enhance user experiences, and unlock new creative potentials. AWS, the leading cloud platform, offers a suite. Now, see where AWS comes in. AWS, the leading cloud platform, offers a suite of generative AI services. Remember, AWS means what? So, which means they are offering services, right? So now they are going to offer us services that is interconnected with generative AI. So now that's what it's saying here. AWS, the leading cloud platform, offers a suite of generative AI services that makes this powerful technology accessible and scalable for organizations of all sizes. Now, I told you, you can train your AI from your ChatGPT, but that one is specific to you. Somebody says, how do I know more about your company? Say, wait. I have a tab that I train in my ChatGPT that knows about my company. No, that's not what you want. Because the person that might want to know about your company might not even be there physically with you. It might be somebody that is in US that saw your company and wants to interact with it, right? So now, how do we train something, AI somewhere? How do we train AI someplace so that it knows about my business, so that somebody somewhere can be able to browse about this, my services and my business, and be able to get information about this? This is where AWS comes in. Do we understand? So using these generative AIs from AWS standpoint, just the same way you can ask questions like, how do I host my services? How do I host my website? How do I host my services in such a way that I don't need to buy one big server somewhere and keep in my room? And because all the websites you use, how many of us knows that all the websites we have access to is living in a computer somewhere? Do we know? All the websites you can access is living in a computer somewhere. It's just a code that is living in a computer somewhere, that is hosted somewhere. So that somewhere is, once you go to some websites, which is one funny thing Nigeria Nigeria government website does is they use phony servers to host their services, and when you go to like somewhere like Jam, during the point that people are trying to like register Jam, or let me not even use Jam, everybody here is above Jam. Let's use something like election, NIN, all this information. Like you hear something like election, during election period that the server is down. What are you people talking about? Which server is down? Or you want to register your business, they tell you that CAC is down. Oh, Jesus, like what is down? What is down, for crying out loud? I go to a bank is telling me that their server is down. I'm like, what? Do you even know what is server? What is the server is down? What are you telling me that your server is down? Do you know if your server is down, my money is like down? That's what people are saying. Do you understand? But if you understand this technology, most of them that are saying our server is down does not even know what is server. It's just a generic language. Our server is down. You go to a particular website, the government's website, they tell you that their server is down. They don't even know what is server. You go to a website that a lot of people are trying to access, and the thing is opening for one person, but it's not opening in another person. Do you know what they call it? They say a lot of people are there, wake up in the middle of the night and do it, and it will open. All these things are technologies, right? If you host your website in an AWS cloud server that is very far away from where you are based, and the people that are accessing your website is in this particular region, it's going to take like a lot of traffic for them to be able to access your website. That's number one, right? Now, that's why you need to host it somewhere that is close by, so that the packet traffic, if I go into this one, everybody will be confused, will be like lesser. So that's the idea behind the whole thing. So when you hear government say something like, our server is down, it means that, one, it's either they use the cheap service to host their service, or two, they are, let's even say, for instance, they are hosting it with AWS. They are not using what is called load balancing. Load balancing is in a situation, this is, when you hear load balancing, is an AWS service. Two, it's like in a situation where a lot of people are visiting a particular site, right? So there is too much traffic. So what do? They split the sites into different, I'm giving you a layman understanding, split the sites into different servers, right? So now this group are accessing it here, this group are accessing it here. The load is being balanced. Do you understand? Not everybody is accessing it on this particular computer. They split it on different servers. So different people are accessing it on different computer, and it reduces the amount of service. When you hear people like INEC say that their server was down, they had a glitch in their server, that's why, that one is a capital lie. It's either they turned it off somewhere, or they are using an inferior services. If you are using a services like AWS, which is why we are here, which is why I'm talking about AWS. If you are using AWS, for instance, Nigeria is too small. Like, the population of Nigeria is too small to crash AWS server. Too small. Do you understand? So it's politics around it. That's why you hear stuff like this. Now, back to what we are talking about. Now, how do we leverage AWS? How do we leverage AWS in terms of AI? The last speaker talked about Amazon Bedrock, right? So now, Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service that lets you access and customize foundation models for tasks like text generation, image creation, or building chatbots. You don't need to be an AI expert to use it. The last speaker said this. He said, you don't need to be an expert to use Amazon Bedrock. Now, what is Amazon Bedrock? Somebody asked me a question. How do I train AI? Now, and I gave you an answer that you can train ChatGPT, which is specific to that particular tab, right? And then I told you that if you have a business, if you're a business person, and then you want your business to be trained in such a way that when a question is asked to that business, you can be able to get information. You can use Amazon Bedrock to train. So what Amazon Bedrock does is this. How many of us are software developers? No? Okay. So I'm trying to use a word that will not be cumbersome. There's something we call API. I talked about it in our last class. If you are here, you're supposed to know. Who knows what API means? Who knows what API means? Okay, so API means application programming interface. It's like a way that what you are doing, you know, when you open, let's say for instance, when you open, let's use Uber, Bolt for instance. When you open Bolt, you are seeing something like you type your address, you type your destination, then you click on send, right? Something happens. That thing that happens, there is a communication between the front end, which is the part you're seeing, to the back end. And the back end is the part where it's supposed to do what you're expecting. Because funny enough, most of us don't write code to these softwares we use, but we already have an expectation of what you're expecting. Imagine if you open your Uber app now, for instance, and then you type where you're going and type where you are, where you're going to, and press send, and it's giving you driver that is in America. You're going to be surprised, right? You're not expecting that. You're expecting to see a driver that is within your locality, right? And this is something that is happening at the back, and that communication between what you typed and what is meant to happen is happening through what is called an API, right? Now, you can use the same API to connect your website to Amazon Bedrock to train it on the kind of services you offer, right? And then that you'll be able to create like a chatbot that can be able to like tell people about your business, everything about your business, because they're sending their data from your website to Amazon Bedrock. Now, in Amazon Bedrock itself, they have different models. Are you hearing me? They have different models. How many of us knows that in ChatGPT there is ChatGPT 3, there is GPT-3, there is GPT-4. If you are using Claudia, there's Claudia 3, there's Claudia 4, right? If you are using Grok, there is Grok 3, there is Grok 4. All these things are models. They are models, higher models. Even in the last class when we did VO, Google VO, there is VO2, there is VO3, right? All these things are enhanced version of what they had before. So which means new data has been fed to it, and then they decided to call that one version 3 or something like that. Do you understand? So now in Amazon Bedrock, there are out there Cloudy. So you can decide to use the Cloudy 3 or Cloudy 4 to train your software, your website, right? Or your business. So now the model you choose is based on you, and the amount you pay is based on you, based on the services you choose, right? So now let's give an example of where you can use Amazon Bedrock. Okay, let me make sure I'm not confusing somebody. Amazon Bedrock is what? Like, not the meaning of it. What is Amazon Bedrock? Does anybody know? If somebody asks you, what is Amazon Bedrock? What's the first thing that comes into your mind? Okay, yes, but I need you to say something which is like, it is a service. It is a service offered by Amazon. Because Amazon Bedrock is not a service that can be offered by Google. It's not a service that can be offered by Microsoft. So you have to say it's a service offered by Amazon. And that is where the S in AWS comes in. This is one of the services that is in that S. So when you hear AWS, Amazon Web Services, it means one of the services is Amazon Bedrock, right? And then now the service that this Amazon Bedrock provides is the ability for you to train a model based on any kind of information. Let me not say your business, any kind of information. It can be your business, it can be your life, it can be anything. So the advantage now is that this information is now accessible to people all over the world when they have access to that trained model, and no more just accessible to you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So that's what Amazon Bedrock is all about. So it's a retail company uses Bedrock to generate personalized product description for thousands of items in their online store. So if something like Jumia wants to use a service that can train, that is specific to Jumia, that you cannot come and start asking this question that concerns Konga, and they will give you answers to it, that is specific to Jumia. They don't want to start building the whole AI stuff. they can go and use a service from Amazon, which is called Amazon. That's the service they're going to use. So now they use that service, train the model in everything Jumia related, the products they have, the description of the products and everything. So once you come, and this is even a nice idea, thinking about it now. Because sometimes when you come, you want to buy something, you're asking, you type the name of the thing you want to buy and they say they don't have it. Whereas if you type the name in a different way, you will see that product, right? Because you did not type the exact name. So what they're doing something called search matches. So imagine if they have like a chat app where you can say, okay, I want a product that can do something like this. Recommend products like that for me. And then they give you like links that can take you to a place like that. So all these things are ideas. Like I can tell you for sure that being part of the early adopters of this AI thing can make you a multi-millionaire in dollars, actually, if you think about great ideas that you can use. Because while I'm teaching you this thing now, I just give an example of Jumia, for instance. Imagine if I know somebody that works in Jumia or something, top hierarchy, I can come and meet them and tell them, why don't we train the whole Jumia architecture using Amazon Bedrock? Now, they might not know Amazon Bedrock, but I know my Amazon Bedrock, you know Amazon Bedrock, and you know what Amazon Bedrock can do. And you're giving them this idea, and you're telling them that you can do it once you know how to use Amazon Bedrock, and then you collect a huge amount of money from them, and you do it and offer that services to them. Do you understand? So there are a lot of things you can use AI to do at this point in time, now before it becomes popular, because once it becomes popular, you now start looking for a way to modify the existing thing, and that's how the whole life is. So now, we can train their online store, tailoring them to different customer segments. Example, cozy sweater for chilly evening versus trendy night for fashion forward shoppers. This saves hours of manual writing and boosting sales on any e-commerce website that you go to. Now, let's talk about SageMaker. SageMaker. Who can tell me what Amazon SageMaker is on top of your head? What is Amazon SageMaker? Okay, when I ask this question here, what I expect you to answer me first is that it's a service offered by Amazon. You need to understand, see, a lot of people misinterpret AWS on its own, and that's where the most problem is. The problem is not even understanding how to use the services offered by AWS. It's understanding the fact that this is a service offered by AWS. If I'm walking on the road and somebody stops me and be like, have you used EC2 before? And I'm like, what is EC2? EC2 now, like Elastic Cloud Compute. What is Elastic Cloud Compute? Are you seeing where this whole thing is going to? Now, I can also throw you off balance, even if I have not used it before. I say, have you used EC2 before? Yes, now I've used EC2 before. Is it not one of the services offered by Amazon? Do you know by saying this thing, I don't need to ask you for that question. Because for you to even understand first, that is one of the services offered by Amazon, means that you understand what EC2 is. I don't need to like start drilling you. It's like a fundamental answer that you just gave, because many people do not even know that it's a service offered by Amazon. Do you understand? So whenever I show you a service, I say, on top of your head, what do you think this is? Just your first point of answer should be like, it's a service offered by Amazon. So that you understand that S in AWS. And it's easier for you to relate any other services you need. Because all these services we are talking about, it's not just the only services that Amazon offer. It is services that is relative to the generative AI we are talking about. Does it make sense? It's services that are relative to the generative AI we are talking about. So now, if you understand that this is services, and you understand that why we are talking about it is because we are talking about Gen AI, you are now linking the two. You're understanding that anywhere you hear Bedrock, you are talking about a generative AI. You can now modify your answer and now say, is a generative AI service offered by Amazon. To be smart, no hard. Now, just how to understand these things, that's what makes it hard. So it's like a generative AI solution offered by Amazon. And there is no better answers to that. I don't need you to start defining it, breaking it down for me. If you now know that one, you can go further to it. You understand? So I want you to take into account that anywhere you hear the word bedrock, anywhere you hear the word SageMaker, it has to do with an Amazon service. That is relative to what? That is relative to what? That is relative to what? And that's just it. So Amazon SageMaker is a platform for building, training, and deploying custom AI models, including generative ones. It's like a playground for data scientists to create tailored AI solutions. Do you know that in this age and time, if somebody come and meet me and tell me that I want to learn data scientist, I want to be a data scientist, I will tell you that you came late. Like straight up, you came late. Do you know why? Why I will tell you that you came late is this. The services that a data scientist offers is like the services of reading data, right? And then being able to forecast or advise or infer based on those data that you have read. Do you understand? If a company employs a data scientist, they're employing that person to gather data about this field based on the work we are building. If you employ somebody to be like a data scientist for something, you want to build an app that is like Uber, right? Driving app where drivers go to pick this thing. What the person is going to do is to generate data, gather data from both Uber, both boats, both InDrive, both Lyft, all of them. Get me data from there. Tell me what works with each and every one of them, what does not work, what makes sense, what does not make sense, what you think we should do, what you think already exists, what you think is going to make us fail early. That's what a data scientist does for a company. But now, why I will tell you that you came late if you come to tell me that you want to learn data scientist is because all I just need is, I think I will, if I even need to employ a data scientist in my business, I'll just need someone that already have experience. And then that person, that particular one person, in joint with AI, I have information that I need, enough information that I need. So doing data scientist now, starting from scratch now, is not advisable, and it's only advisable if you are going to back it up, back to back, seriously with AI. So that you are offering not just the whole data scientist skills, you are offering it with an ability to get things done faster for any company you work for. Do you understand? Are you getting me? So as technology is coming out, technology is phasing out. That's what is happening. As technology is coming out, technology is phasing out. Back in the days, having a file system was a big deal. To buy a file system where you have color-coded file was very expensive. Now that thing is very irrelevant that you can buy it for 1,007 to color-code your file because how many people are using it? Do you understand? But back in those days, because it's a demanded software or a demanded material, it was very expensive. Do you understand? Just like back then when SIM card was very expensive. Now they even dash it on the road and tell you buy one and get one free. So as technology is coming out, something is phasing out. Just make sure you grow with it. Now, what does SageMaker does? SageMaker is a platform for building, training, deploying custom AI models, including generative ones. It's like a playground for data scientists to create tailored AI solutions. So, like the former speaker said, he said that SageMaker is actually for professionals, and yes, it's for professionals, because this is where you are training the AI now with data from the scratch. You are not using a pre-trained AI. You are like building the whole thing from scratch, that kind of a thing. So that's what SageMaker does. So a gaming company uses SageMaker to train a generative model that creates unique game storylines. Now, for every game you play, if you're a type of person that plays games, there are unique stories that happens for every stage that you go. If you're playing a game that does the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, you get tired of it at a point, right? But if you play a game that is evolving, for every stage there is different challenges and stuff like that, it makes you to stick to it, to come back to it and want to do it, right? So you use SageMaker to like train AI to generate storylines, create something further as it's going, that kind of a thing. And then it creates unique game storyline based on players' choices and making each player's experience feel custom made. So based on what I chose, is like I want to think of a game that everybody plays. Okay, it's like, yeah, I think Candy Crush, they are also developing. I don't know the last time I ever saw that game. I think they are developing because now they make sure that for every stage there are different kind of. It's not like the normal swipe thing, different level of difficulty. But I want to give an example like how many of us have heard this game COD, Call to Duty, right? Call of Duty, yeah, Call of Duty, yeah. Do you know that the difference between I played Call of Duty of recent, and I'm like, why is it that this person will shoot me, not me, like my character in the game, with one gun, like shoots like double shooting, and then I'm dead. But I need to shoot this person like multiple times before the person is dead. All these things are tailor-made, right? The type of gun you use and the number of times you've been using it, you are acquiring some certain stuffs that makes your character more stronger than the next person's character. And that's why if the person shoots the person once, the person dies and something like that. So I want to give you an idea of a game that you know, right? And tell you how SageMaker does this whole thing. So SageMaker helps tailor AI models based on your ideas and based on your ideologies. Does it make sense? So most people that use SageMaker are actually like AI engineers, people that are like deep into the game. Now let's talk about Amazon Code Whisper. Amazon Code Whisper can also be called Amazon Q. Yeah. So if we talk about Amazon Code Whisper, Amazon Code Whisper is an AI-powered coding assistant, just like Copilot for those that does coding. And I don't think most of us do coding here. So I'm going to like kind of be fast. So it's like a coding assistant that suggests code in real time as you're coding, helps you speed up development, and it is trained to understand programming languages. So before, somebody will be like, how do you know Python, no JavaScript, no... Now, the funny thing is that with the code assistant that we have now, you can actually write a code in JavaScript and ask the code assistant to write the same code in Python, and it writes it for you. Like, life is like a way lot easier. I have a friend that started writing code like 30 years ago. Yeah? So during their time, they first of all write code in paper. Right? They write it in paper, then they use one small something to try to emulate it. Yeah? And I'm talking about 30 years ago. Now, I started writing code professionally 8 years ago, but tried something like 10 years ago or something, but professionally 8 years ago, yeah? I started writing professional code for companies 8 years ago. Now, during that period, you can be in one particular bug, like you have a bug in the code you're writing, you have issue, and the bug is like a comma. That's like a comma. And it takes you like 3 days to discover that your problem was a comma. And it gets crazy because by the time you discover, you're like mad with yourself. Like, I wasted 3 days just because of a comma or a semicolon that is not where it's meant to be. And now, looking at what we have now, it's like, as you're writing the code itself, the code assistant is telling you, brother, you missed a comma here. As you're writing the code, like, it's telling you already that you missed a comma here. And it's like, if you're even if you have a bug, now it gives you suggestion of possible solutions to this bug. Back then, we use what is called there's this thing that everybody, why am I forgetting it? There is this place that is a warehouse for anybody that is a programmer. Okay. The thing just slips my head now. So it's like a place where you go to ask questions, or you have an experience, you have something, you have a code issue, you ask the questions there, somebody comes to respond, and it's like well documented. People come see if you have that kind of error, you search for it, you come that place, you see it. This thing is a platform. I can't remember. It's called, it starts with an S. Okay, yeah, so we have a platform like that we were using then. And sometimes your error is tailor-made to you. So sometimes you're not even seeing the response to that. But with stuff like this, with an Amazon Code Whisper, this solution is solved for you. So it's like an AI-powered coding assistant that suggests code in real time, speeding up development because it helps to speed up development. Now, bug that you would have solved in 3 days, you solve it in less than 1 hour. It's trained to understand programming languages and can generate entire functions. Example, a startup developer uses Code Whisper to write a Python script for a customer-facing app, reducing coding time by 30% and catching errors before they happen. Now, with the kind of AI we have, some AI reduce coding time by up to 80%. Like back in the days, one of the first things you do when I train people on programming, the first thing I tell you to do is to program a to-do app. Program a to-do app because it does like the whole CRUD system. You can create a new to-do, you can edit a to-do, you can read a to-do, and you can delete a to-do. Yeah, Stack Overflow. Yeah, Stack Overflow. That's why I say it starts with an X. So it's Stack Overflow. It's like a place that people were going to. It was like, in fact, some jobs will ask you if you have a Stack Overflow experience or ask you for your Stack Overflow link to be able to see stuff you've done in Stack Overflow. So now, we have something like this that helps you do this. Now, if you want to create a to-do app now, you can just go to ChatGPT and tell you, create a to-do app for me. You don't even need to type long thing, just create a to-do app for me, and it will do it for you. So AI is making life very, 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 very easy for all of us. And then we have an Amazon Lex, ELX. An Amazon ELX. What is an Amazon ELX? What is an Amazon ELX? I want this thing to stick in your head. If you did not learn anything, learn this one. This thing should stick in your head. Once you see something, now what you need to find out is the area they are used for. If you hear EC2, Amazon EC2, is a service offered by Amazon, but it's not specific to generative AI. It is specific to compute. You understand? That's the whole server hosting stuff. That's where EC2 comes in, right? So if you can be able to understand that, okay, these things are Amazon services, and then you can be able to differentiate those services according to what they do, you are getting far with AWS itself. Like you're getting really, really far with AWS itself. So Amazon Lex enables you to build conversational chatbots. Now, this is a service offered by Amazon that helps you to build a conversational chatbot powered by NLP. What is NLP? Thank you. NLP is a natural language processing. So if you have an Amazon Lex, what it does for you is it helps you. It is tailor-made to just build chatbots. So it's perfect for customer services. So if you have a customer services section in your website, you can put an Amazon ELX trained, and it's going to offer a chatbot for you. So an example is like a traveling agency that uses Lex to create a chatbot that helps customers book flights by answering questions like, what's the cheapest flight to Paris next month? In the natural language, improving users' experience. This is what Amazon Lex does for you. Now, take into account, somebody asks you, what are easy ways that I can create a chatbot for my website or for my services or for my products, right? We talk about Amazon Lex. We can also talk about Bedrock, right? Bedrock also does the same thing. But Bedrock is like training a model on its own. But Amazon Lex is specifically for chatbot creation, right? Maybe some other time we can do like a hands-on where you create like an Amazon Lex. It's actually very, very easy and very, very simple if you know how to use the Amazon interface itself. So I'm giving the example, which is like a traveling agency. Now imagine if you have, there are days where people book flights for people, right? So you want to book flights, I want to book flight that is going to this, and they help you book flights like that. Now I can decide to crash. Let's say I have an airline and I have a website. I can decide to crash that business by having this chatbot on that business, and then people just need to come. What is the cheapest flight to so and so place? Do you know the advantage I'm going to receive? The suggestion that Amazon Lex is going to give to you is suggestion that is from my own services. If you go to Google and search cheapest flights to Paris, it's going to give you maybe, let's say Airpiece is going to Paris, give you Airpiece, it'll give you Arik, let's say Arik is going to Paris. It's going to give you different services, right? And now you are giving the customer the ability to not use my service, and I don't like it. Come to my website, be stick in my website, stay there, don't go anywhere. You want the cheapest price of Paris, ask the question in my website, it will give you the idea, stick there, book that services, I want your money. Straightforward, that's what these services does for you. Do you understand? Yeah, so now let's talk about Amazon Poly. Amazon Poly turns text into lifelike speech. Amazon Poly turns text into lifelike speech with natural sounding voices. Natural sounding voices. Ideal for app that needs audio output. You have a customer that says, please build I want you to build I'm hearing this AI thing everywhere. I want you to build a app for me that when my users use it to say a word, it gives them a sound. Like they type the word and it gives them the sound. It sounds the word for them. Now, I don't need to start rebuilding the whole AI thing from scratch. Do you understand? What I need to do is to do what? Go and use an Amazon Web Service. Now, this service has already been pre-built. All you need to do is to use it. That's the same thing. Like when we say, see, when I'm teaching you, I want you to just have a clear picture of the whole thing, what this whole thing is talking about. Just the same way that if I tell you about a server being in your office and then I'm telling you that what cloud does for you is take away this physical server, host it somewhere, and it's hosted in the cloud, not this cloud. It's hosted somewhere, and you have access to it. That's what it does for you, right? So now, what does Amazon Poly does for you? Amazon Poly gives you this service now that does text to speech. All you need to do is to go to Amazon and use that service. You can use it to build this thing for a company. Remember, if you are here in my last AI class, I told you guys of a software I built, right? Of an application I built for a client where what the client does, what the company does is they pay people to come and review products, right? But the problem is that when they review product, they review the products in their languages. Now they want an ability where they can be able to have that product not only speak that language that the reviewer reviewed that product in, but speak different languages. But you know the good thing, speaking it using that person's voice, and not a man is talking, a woman's voice is what you are hearing. You are using that same person's voice, and you are speaking a different language. The person is speaking English from the voice, and these things can be done using Amazon Poly. Now, first of all, I did not rebuild the whole thing. I did not rebuild the whole AI stuff from scratch. I used a service, and that service is doing the transcribing for me on the back. But now I don't need to come and explain to the client, this is what I did. All what you want is this. Pay me my money, I charge you my bill, and I give it to you. What I used to do is, I'm the one that knows. Now, you are getting to know part of these services you can use to do this kind of a thing. Example is Amazon Poly. Is it making clear? Are we understanding the whole idea between generative AI and our AWS? Making clear points, right? Okay, now, so an example is an e-learning platform. Now, there was a company I worked for years back. If I'm to work for that company now, I'm going to work with them in a smarter way. So we built a product that is called a multi-tenancy product, right? So that product is like, it's a e-learning management system. So it's called a multi-tenancy product because different universities can use it, different campuses can use it, and it's going to be tailored to them, right? So let's say UNN wants to use it, UNN admits students on that same platform, they admit students on that same platform. Uniben is using that same platform. The same platform. Maybe we did it in such a way that you can name it whatever it is you want to name it. So if you name it UNN. These people are using that same platform and name it Uniben. This is the same thing that happens in bank. Most of the banks you use are using the same platform for their mobile app. But the difference is that they are now renaming it, right? And that's the same concept. Like, when you understand the concept, you can use it in different perspectives, different ideas, different ways. So now, in that particular software, what we did is that if you onboard your students, right? You upload your content. Your students can only view your content. there is no how they will see another content that is not your own. But in that whole software, there is somebody called a super admin. Super admin is like super admin. Is the person that can solve, that's now the product owner, that can solve any problem across all platforms. So while Uniben is using it, UNN is using it, Uniben has a problem that is specific to their campus, that super admin can log in, fix that problem for them, because the person is like super admin. So the person can log into Uniben on, log into UNN on. But the funny thing is that the database, that's where all the students' names and information is for UNN. Uniben can never see it. It is the same application, it's the same software, but it has different structure. Now, thinking about that now with this whole Amazon Poly thing, imagine in a situation where a particular university that is in a French-speaking country wants to expand to an English-speaking country, right? They already have all their content in French. Now they don't want to start remaking those contents or paying the instructors to come back and start teaching those content in English. Now they can use Amazon Poly to transcribe those things from French to English. Are we understanding this whole thing? All right, so let's talk about Amazon Transcribe. What is Amazon Transcribe off your head? What is Amazon Transcribe? Yes. So, yeah? Yes, they are all generative AIs. No. No. You see, this is where the point comes in. Not all Amazon services are generative AI services. No. In fact, 80% of Amazon services has nothing to do with AI at all. Like you have Amazon Lambda, you have Amazon EC2, you have many services that Amazon offer, right? But the point is this: when you are learning Amazon, learn it specifically to what you want to do on that particular platform. If you try to learn everything generically, it's going to take you a very, very long time to be useful with the whole application, right? So what we are talking about, all the services we are talking about so far today, Bedrock, SageMaker, Lex, Poly, and now Transcribe. All these things are generative AI services offered by who? Yeah. So Amazon Transcribe. Amazon Transcribe converts audio into text. The other one converts what? This one does what? So are you seeing the idea between the two? This one is, so I need something that can change the words I type to the characters I type to a word. I go to Amazon Poly. I need something that will transcribe the words I hear to text. I use what? Yeah. So it can be used for applications like automated subtitles. So imagine where movies, you're watching a movie, you want subtitles there. You use something like Amazon Transcribe. It can be used by customer care, so I can be able to hear not only hear, but read the conversation between the both ends. So a podcast network uses Transcribe to generate accurate transcripts of episodes, which are then used by a Gen AI tool to create blog summaries, expanding their content reach. There are many ideas that comes with this kind of a thing. Imagine now you want to create a podcast, and then you don't want to be the one talking, you are camera shy, and then you can write the script. If you are in the last AI class, I taught you guys how to do like different processes. Now, those different processes had nothing to do with AWS. I told you that when we are talking about AWS, it's a different ballgame. All those services are like different things, right? You can use ChatGPT to change your image to something else, right? Then you use like Hydra to change that image to start talking, right? And then we now use another tool to convert our text to words, right? And then we now attach that very words to that image in Hydra, and it started talking, right? Now, do you know the funny thing? Hydra might, I'm saying might because there are other services that offer this kind of thing. Hydra might, on their backend, be using Amazon Poly or Amazon Transcribe. Do you understand? So, at the same time, that services I told you that changes text to speech might be using Amazon Transcribe. And you don't know. Now, they use Amazon Transcribe, create an application for you. All you need to do is go and type. All they need to do is to generate text for you. Now, when they make it paid, and your life has already depended on it, you have to pay them for the services. The most AI services that you see, they not create the whole thing from scratch. They are using services like this. They use services like this on their backend. So once you type the text goes to Amazon Transcribe. Transcribe is the thing, gives you back a text, and it shows you the text on their software, on the application, and you download it and you say, wow, this application is doing a lot. You can actually create it yourself, right? And you can do that using Amazon Transcribe. Now, the final one is Amazon Nova. Amazon Nova is a new family of the foundation models, offering high performance for text, image, and multi-model tasks at a competitive price. So now, it does, an example is like a marketing firm that uses Nova to generate social media posts and accompanying visuals, creating a week's worth of content in minutes while maintaining brand consistency. So you can use Nova for your business because Nova creates stuff like text, images, and all those things. Now, there are some softwares, there are some applications that offer you these services at a paid price. And on the back end, they are using Amazon Nova. It's just like there are some services that offer hosting service now. That like you go, they tell you can host your website with them. At the back they are using Amazon EC2. They are using Amazon S3 buckets. So all these things, Amazon EC2, Amazon S3 buckets, all these things are services also, but they have nothing to do with generative AI. So they are using all these services at the back end to do those things that you want to do for that you are paying them to do for you. You understand? The same way with some people use ChatGPT on the back end of the application to do the same thing that you can go to ChatGPT to do. The major thing is information. If you don't have this information, you want to use this application not knowing that it's something you can build on your own. Now, I have this quote by Albert Einstein, my guy. He said, the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Now, mind you, I told you guys in the last, those are here. I told you people that I differentiated I told you the difference between an intelligence and knowledge, right? And I told you that someone can be very, very intelligent, but is not knowledgeable. It's someone that is very good in a particular business can go to another business and be on a road there. That's because the person is not knowledgeable in that area. So the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Now, it's not because you have the knowledge of everything in the world, but because you can be able to imagine those things. And if you can imagine those things, you can be able to create it now with the kind of information we have. I was watching a 1997 movie. In that movie I was watching, the person said, in the year 2030, now this is 1997 movie, the actor said, in the year 2030, that there will be an ability for computers to be able to replicate the human mind. Even he went further to say, it's going to be possible for you to carry your mind and put in a computer, and the computer will make decisions for you. This is a 1997 movie. If you watch that movie by that time, that person is talking rubbish. But we are in 2025. We have 5 years more to go to reach that 2030 that he said, which as at that time is like more than 30 years to come. As at that time, it doesn't make sense to anybody. It's a rubbish speech. As at this time, it's actually a possibility because now I can train AI with every information I have. And then that AI tells me those information again. I don't need to think again. I just need to ask him. If I train AI with what I eat, let's say I'm the type that eats certain things on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? I can tell it what am I meant to eat on Monday, and it will spit it out for me because it already has that information, right? So I don't even need to think about it again. I can spit out all the foods I eat into an AI and tell it to randomly give me suggestions every day. So every day, it gives you suggestions. The last speaker said you can use AI to write response emails and all those things to people all these things are just exactly what we are talking about. We are talking about something being able to think and act like you without you doing all the necessary thinking, right? So the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. So you have to be able to imagine it in order to be able to achieve it. Now, conclusion or rounding up, I know we've taken a whole lot of time. How many of us enjoyed this class? Did we learn something new? Okay, so now, let's talk about generative AI in action. So we talk about healthcare. So we can use a hospital, for instance. You can go to a hospital, train an Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker to generate patient-friendly summaries of medical reports, helping patients understand complex diagnoses without jargon. See, the way, how many of us knows of Aproko Doctor? We know him, he's a social media person. He created an app that helps, AI app, that helps people with all those things that he used to come and teach you now. Using his applications, you just need to ask that question and you get this information. Now, I don't know if it's paid, I've not used it before, but like, if he makes it paid, a lot of people will be willing to pay for that service. Because why? Because sometimes, some things, you don't want to go to a doctor first. Because some things are even peculiar that not every doctor knows about it. Do you understand? You wouldn't want to go and meet a doctor that does general merchandise in the hospital, in the school, and tell him that you're having something in your brain. Your brain does something like this. But imagine you have an AI that can be able to give you tailored information based on this kind of a thing, right? So, and then you cannot ask it like, suggest to me hospitals or doctors that are specific to this kind of event. So now, if I'm going to a hospital, I'm asking, do you have a neuron surgeon, or do you have someone that is an expert in the brain, a neuronist? Now, I am not going to say, I want to see a doctor, my brain is doing think-on. There is now a difference. I have knowledge of what could probably be wrong with me. I know the kind of doctor that needs to see to it, and I can be able to have this doctor help me. And how did I get this information? Through an app built by somebody, of course, that combines Amazon Bedrock to generate patient-friendly summaries of medical reports. Then you talk about entertainment. We can build a streaming services that leverages Amazon Nova to create AI-generated movie posters. Now, these days, you know, back in those days, when after acting a movie or when you want to build a product, you go and get a photographer, keep your product, the person will do it, check them, look for something, add, there's this guy that used to do this on Instagram, add smoke, artificial smoke, add artificial cloud and stuff like this. This guy takes time to create this thing first. And after he finished creating it, then he will now go and start sitting down to start editing it. And after editing it, he will start adding effects to it. Now, these days, just carry the products, keep one side, snap and picture, upload them to Amazon, upload it to this thing, tell it, add smoke, add cloud, and give me this product. It will give it to you. You take it, you go to another app and say, make the smoke to have an effect. And you have a smoky, effective design. I did not pay any photographer. Photographer first did not even snap. That one is gone. I did not pay any editor. Editor did not edit shit. That one is gone. And now you have ability to do this thing. Now, on the same plane, there are still people now that doesn't know about this, that might still need photographers to do this kind of a thing for them. And then that is where you come in. You come in with this idea, I can do it. Where is your photographer? Don't worry. I'll show you where I'm an expert. You snap the thing, tell the person you see it in 3 days time. Don't tell him that you see it immediately, so he will not pay you 2 naira. Nigerians have mentality that if you get solution done in less than 1 minute, your money have been decreased. That's why some people will come. They have seen the problem to the thing, no? They'll not tell you, this thing, serious problem. Just to burn time, because imagine if your problem is a switch and the person just come, use screwdriver, push something in, and then the switch is working. And you now ask the person how much, you now say 10,000. You say 10,000 for what? For this thing where you just, why you not chook am? Do you understand? So it's like a mentality. And since we have that mentality, in America, If you say this kind of a thing in America, it's funny. Because over there they charge per hour. So if you are booking me, minimum you will pay is 1 hour. So if I finish your work in less than 1 hour, you are paying me for 1 hour service. Do you understand? Straightforward, no back and forth. But here, we charge you per the time you spend on the thing. So if you spend 1 minute, you will even do it for free. You will be here, let me send you 500 to buy a charge card. Do you understand? That's the point. So, like, imagine telling a client, I can do this, snap the thing, take it home for 3 days, and do all your magic and then send it to the person. But if the person is, if you have a competitor, don't take it for 3 days. Do it for 1 day and then make it like professional anyways. So yeah, this is AI doing a whole lot of things for us. So we have like AI powered coding assistants. Example is Amazon Code Whisperer to write code faster and catch errors earlier in development. Then we have education. A university uses Poly and Transcribe to create accessible lecture materials, turning spoken lectures into text and narrated summaries for students with disabilities. Now, disability students can now go to normal places that normal students go, because you can be able to use, not in Nigeria yet, sure. I don't know why everything, we used to be back in it. Because I think the reason is because we don't pay money for something until that thing becomes a norm. Then that's when people start rushing it. So a disability person can go to a school, someone that can't see, can go to a school, and then all the stuff that they are writing in the book, we have something transcribe it to it and be speaking it as a word to the person. Someone that can see but that cannot hear can have spoken words transcribed to the person as a distance. I forgot there was an eyeglass I would have brought. That eyeglass, if I'm wearing it like this, if you're speaking English, it will be talking to me in my ears in French. It's an eyeglass, normal eyeglass. It transcribes words. It gives you mostly all these text-to-speech stuff. And you can listen to music with the eyeglass, like wearing an eyeglass is playing music in your ear. So that's how much technology has gone and how much far we are now. In summary, let's talk about Gen AI services offered by Amazon. So we have Amazon Bedrock, which the use case is generating personalized product descriptions for an online retail store. We have Amazon SageMaker, creating unique game storylines based on player choices for a gaming company. We have Amazon Code Whisperer, speeding up app development by suggesting code in real time for a startup, for instance. We have Amazon Lex, building a conversational chatbot to help customers build flights for a travel agency. We have we have Amazon Poly, which helps in narrating educational lessons in multiple language and e-learning platform. Any questions? Any questions? Yeah. You have a question? Yeah, ask me. No, so this is my Visual Studio Code, right? This is my Visual Studio Code. You can see it meets Amazon Q. Code Whisperer is also Amazon Q anyways. So now you can go to inside your code editor, you go to what is called extension of things. It comes with Lambda, S3, CloudFormation, and Code Whisperer, right? Now, if after doing this, I have this logo here, I have this Amazon logo here. Most of the things I do I do on Amazon. I don't even go to Amazon itself. I use like a CDK to do it. So I come here. This is Amazon Q. I click on Amazon Q. I can be able to ask the questions I want here. And let's say I'm even coding. While I'm doing the coding I'm doing, it's actually like seeing the code. And if I want to ask it a question, you see what they said here. Start typing to get suggestions. If I type anything now, it's trying to like give me suggestion, and then I can actually write a comment. And once I write a comment, I can tell Amazon Q to generate the code for me just by writing a comment. You can write a comment and say, write a function that creates a to-do app, and then Amazon Q takes it from there and just creates. You just be looking at your this thing to be typing the code for you, until it's done, right? So that's how it works. So you don't need to go to Amazon to do it. It's like a services that you can use on your code editor itself. That's Amazon Code Whisperer. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
So my question is, how can one access these services? How can you have access to them,
To them.
as an individual
Yeah.
or as an organization?
Yeah.
So another one is it free? Is there free version of it, or is it paid version? And how much does it cost for one to access it? And is it also friendly for
A beginner.
let's say a beginner? Yes, want to learn business or not.
Okay. So to answer this question, the first question is, how do you assess these things in the first place? So everything Amazon services is on Amazon platform itself. Like everything Amazon services is on AWS platform itself. If you go to AWS and then you go to aws.amazon.com, you sign in or create an account, you will see all the, am I signed in? I think so. Should be. You should be able to see any service of Amazon that you want. Any service. Like any service that you want. Now, Amazon does not operate in a, like the way ChatGPT does, like monthly payments. They do pay as you go. That's what they do, right? So for every service you use, you do pay as you go. Now, there is something called voucher. If you have like an AWS voucher, you are lucky, because it's like having, let's say, like now I have $1,000 worth of AWS voucher because I'm an AWS community builder. So now everything I do on AWS on my own account is going to be free. It's not like it's free. It's free because I have a voucher, right? So they are taking the money from that my voucher. So now it's like free because I did not pay any money from my pocket. So that's how Amazon does. Amazon is like, come to our platform, use our services, we charge you at the end of the month for the services that you use. So you can use like, you are using a hosting platform, and you are consuming a particular amount of data on that hosting platform. At the end of the month, they give you bills on the data that you've consumed, right? So that's how Amazon works generally. So Amazon is a software company that's the other side. It's a software company that offers services to you. They don't do monthly subscription. What they do is pay as you go. So for every services you use, I can come here, start a service, use it, test it, kill it. Do you understand? Especially those that are free tier. There are those that are free tier. So those things are like free tier. So I think when I can like go deep into this kind of a thing is like, if we have like another section or something like that, then it's going to be more or less like hands-on, where we are doing something like this hands-on. But now, this today was supposed to be hands-on, but I needed you guys to understand this concepts first, because the problem with hands-on is once we go hands-on, it becomes very, very confusing if you do not understand this basic, very, very basic thing. You understand? I remember the last program we did in I can't remember the hotel, but this same AWS program, yeah, it was, some of them was hands-on. A lot of people did not understand anything that was done in that event, anything, until like I started speaking. When I came and I started speaking, I prepared a hands-on program, but like I saw everybody was tired by the time I came to speak, and then I had to like abandon the whole thing I prepared and started like explaining this concept. And a lot of people now understood what they have been hearing, because everybody that comes on, this one will come and say Amazon Q. They do not even know what is Q. This one will come and say SageMaker. This one will come and say Bedrock. This one will now come and say chatbots. Everybody was just like this. So by the time it was time for me to speak, everybody was like tired already. Like they were even saying that they should give them food and not bring me in, because everybody's tired. And I understand. Do you understand? If you are teaching people, you need to understand the knowledge level they have before you can be able to go into advanced or this thing. Now, if we have like a section like this some other time, and then we are going into hands-on, Now, if I talk about Amazon Lex, I don't need to explain what Amazon Lex is. You already know what it does. If I'm talking about using Bedrock and using a particular model on Bedrock, you already know what Bedrock is and what it's meant to do. So what you want to now see is how can I train my data using Bedrock and be able to offer it as a service. Now, if I'm talking about Amazon Transcribe, you already know what Amazon Transcribe is. You just want to see how can I transcribe my text to speech or speech to text using these services. Do you understand? So that's where hands-on is. But in terms of like payments, you can win a voucher, use the voucher to try out these things, pan up these things, and then the cost will be on the voucher. That's how it works. Or you can use the free tier because some of them has a free tier service. If some of them has free tier, like free tier means you can use this, they'll give you like a specific range of things you can do, and it's free. Do you understand? Yeah, so some of them are free tier, some of them are paid. It's paid services. If you have voucher, they collect it from your voucher. That's how Amazon works. So if you go to Amazon, AWS or Amazon.com, if you don't have an account, create an account, you can be able to access these things. You go to their services and you'll be able to see these things. I would have logged in, but mine has two-factor authentication and I don't want to go into the whole this thing. Now, another place you can learn some stuff from Amazon is going to builder.aws.com. I know that the last instructor said this. So if you go to builder.aws.com, they have this, it's like an AWS site where you have this learn, where you can select topics that you want to learn. We have build, where you can decide on the kind of things you can build. If you see Amazon Q, you see two boxes. You have connect, and you can connect some stuffs, and then you can sign into your accounts and all those stuff. So you learn AWS. Why am I stiff? Okay. Now, any other question? Yeah. Yeah. Welcome. Okay. Yes, there are, but this is not the class for that. The people that were here in the AI class that they happened the last time, we spoke about different tools, AWS tools. I think some of them are here. You can ask her or her. I think some of them are here, and they have the slides for that. So the thing is this: you can use ChatGPT to ask it, let's say, because if you want to improve on your business, first of all, you need to know where you're improving on. Am I improving on sales? Am I improving on packaging? Am I improving on ideas on how to sell my products more, which is like sales? Or am I improving on adverts? Or am I improving on adverts? So if you're improving on any of this section, it helps you to write prompts that can help you to get ideas on those areas. Now, if you're improving on adverts, for instance, there are AI tools that can help you create these adverts. So all those ones is like topic for another day. If this thing is live, I can't be talking about a product that belongs to Google in an AWS class. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. Any other question? No. Now, this is the point where I stand up because we are going to play a fun game. It is fun if you are paying attention to this class. It is not fun if you are not paying attention to this class. And the game actually comes with a prize. I have a range of products that AWS usually sends to me like every year. And I can tell you for sure that I value those products. I value them very, very well. But now I'm coming to an AWS class, and I thought to myself, I know I value all the products that they give to me, but I want to reward somebody with one of those products that is shipped to me, very special. And I want to give it to somebody so that the person would feel proud that they came to this class, they learned something new, and they also won in a game, right? And they have a proof for it. So what I'm going to give you has AWS on it, so you can do Shakara with it. And again, coming here, the organizers of this program said the first prize will go with the package I have and $100 voucher for your AWS. The second prize is going to be a sticker and I think $15 voucher, and then the third prize is going to be a sticker. So this is how we are going to play this game. Yeah. Go to this website, kahoot.it. Go to kahoot.it. Then open it on your phone, everybody, and tell me when you've opened it. And we're going to start like the quiz. Now, it's going to put your name, just maybe your first name, so another person will not claim your victory. It's just 10 questions, so it's not much because we have to like finish. And then you answer questions on that, and the person with the highest score becomes the first position. Remember, this thing counts based on speed. How fast you're able to answer those questions determines if you get a higher score. Are we there? Is everybody there? Let's go to kahoot.it. You will see this thing there where you have like where you put the game pin. Are we there? I don't think people online should partake in this game, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I don't want to hear that the winner is somewhere in the world. Are we there now? Are you there? Just type Kahoot, K-A-H-O-O-T, K-A-H-O-O-T.it, Kahoot.it. If you don't know how to go straight to it, you can type it on Google. Just type kahoot.it, then go to it. Are we there? I will not wait for everybody to get there. If your network is bad, that means this game you have failed already. So in this kind of game, you will beg the god of network, or you will switch to a higher network to be able to get it, because you can get all the answers correct, but because your network was taking time, you will not be the first. Okay. Yeah, they have an app. You can download an app, but I don't want it to take the longest of time. If I have 3 people that have it open, then I'm fine. If you open it, can I see your hand? If you opened it, is it showing? You're not logging in anything. You're not creating any account. You just need to show a place where you type the pin. So the game pin is 314343. 314343. You can use nickname, you can use your name, but the thing is that we're not plenty here. When you use nickname and some other person claim your nickname, both of you come and prove it in court. I think I can share my screen now so that we can just see this thing first and then share. I'm already seeing people joining. Yes, 314343. So you can see it there. These are people that have joined. I can actually I can actually share my screen and while they're doing. My problem is that if other people join that are not here, well, if the winner is not here, the second best takes it home. So 3-1, 4-3, 4-3. That's the. Are we all here? If your network is disturbing, sorry. At the count of 5, I will start it. 1, 2. You say? Yes, just once you've entered, is your name on the screen there? You see your name there? The name you type. Eh? I see your name there. And then that means you're in. If I just click on start, you'll get in. Eh? Okay, no, yeah. People that are. Okay. If your name is on the screen, you are in already. You just need to just be on your screen until I click start. Are we ready? I start 1, 2, 3, go. What if my own network is even bad? Okay, so this is the question number 1. Yes, if it's still loading your own, sorry. Question number 1, the time is already clicking. Which of the following AWS service is a machine learning powered coding assistant tool? So what you need to do is just tap on the one that is the answer. Yes, you are seeing the question on the board now. You just click the answer on your side. Five people have answered, 6 people have answered. So it times out every 20 seconds, mind you. So 5 people got it correct, 1 person got it wrong. Okay. Are you ready for the next one? You don't, I'm the one that will press next and you will see the next. So, no, it's showing correct, right? Whether you're correct or wrong. Nothing. When I press next, your own will show the next question. So now it's showing that Mary is the highest now. And then we go number 2, question number 2. You will see the question will show on your end. Which of the following services is a full managed AWS service that lets you use popular foundation models in your app? Let's see those that are paying attention. Did I even talk about this? Oh yeah, choose any answer you want. The person that chooses the right answer is lucky. Yes, I spoke about this. It's Amazon Bedrock now, so how did I not speak about it? Okay. So we have 5 persons correct, 2 people wrong. Now, let's see if somebody has overtaken Mary. No. Okay, so we have Mary first, we have Chi second, and then we have Moniku third. Let's see. The next question is a true or false question, so it's going to show 2 options. Machine learning is a subset of AI that learns from data without explicit programming. Answer, is it true or is it false? Sorry, if network is killing you, sorry. We have 3 people that failed this one. Wow. Okay. Mary is still winning. We have Moniku has taken over. She's now at the sorry. So the next question, number 3. Which of the following services is a hub of open service pre-trained models that integrates with Amazon SageMaker? I did not talk about this. I did not. So I'll give you Poespo, the fastest person. How do you face on AWS? That's the answer. And the fastest. You are ready? Sorry. Yeah, I did not talk about this. Something else, but okay. Next. What is artificial intelligence? This one is very easy. Like, Very, very easy. Just who will answer it fast.
Okay. Everybody, one person failed this. Who said database? Who said it's a database?
That person needs to pay me because he missed all the things I've been doing here.
Okay. So, yeah. Some people are coming up, some people are where they are, some people are going down.
Number 6, remember this is 10 questions. What does a large language model specialize in? What does it specialize in? I spoke about this thing and I spoke about it strongly.
Yeah. I keep wondering who is this one person that is feeling this thing. I'll still know the person, they will still tell me who is the last. And I'll collect my money from this person. Okay. So next one.
Question number 7. This question number 7 has double points because it is the center of all this thing that we're talking.
So if you answer it fast and you are told, you can go to the highest.
So what is generative AI? An AI that creates something new like writing stories, generating arts, etc.
An AI with the ability to understand and work with human language. A type of foundation model specializing in language tasks,
essay and writing.
A specific type of transformer model
Designed to generate human-like text.
From the time I read the
first answer, that's when all of you are supposed to see the answer. Anyways, one person
still doing me the thing.
If this one person
is still the same person.
Okay, so we can see that there was
a change in this thing. So a transformer module processes entire sentence at once, making it effective for understanding context. Is it true or false?
A transformer model. We talked about transformer model.
It processes entire sentences at once, making it effective for understanding context.
A transformer model. Remember what GPT is?
Yeah. That one person did not fail this one. What happened? Okay. So I think this is the last. Okay, now this is number 9 question.
Which AWS service converts audio into text for applications like podcast transcription? Everybody's supposed to get this one.
I know why I put the two that is similar,
so that if in case you confess yourself between
the other one, you fail it. Yeah, I know. Okay. Hey, yeah, somebody just overtook me. Okay. All right, so last question. What is the main function of Amazon Lex?
What is the main function of Amazon Lex? Let's see who will get this one. What is the main function of Amazon Lex? What is the main function of Amazon Lex?
Yeah.
So somebody said turning text into speech. I remember saying
very, very well that
you can create chatbots for companies using Amazon Lex.
So it's a building conversation chatbot. So now,
finally, let's see who the winner is. No, it's not over. I just started. So now, let's see who is coming to. Number 3 is Chi. Who is Chi? Can you wave? Okay. Number 2 is Mary. And then, who is our winner?
Our winner is
Money Cool. Then we have number 4 and number 5, and then...
Where is that person that was failing everything? That person is not supposed to be anywhere here. I think it's this person that is standing in front here. They're about to kick it out.
Okay, yeah, so that's all.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the section. I hope you enjoyed the class. So the last thing will be presentation of Where is the item, sir? Have they kidnapped it?
Okay, so let's.
Money cool, come out.
What's not fair?
Yes, I'm giving her with the white one.
You say?
I'm one of this, okay. So, this is,
Yes.
yeah, you collect $100 voucher from them.
This is a special pen from AWS.
It is written
AWS here. So you not only
come to learn, you actually gain.
something in return. Now, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So she's also going to receive a $100 voucher from the seminar. Now, the second person is Mary. She almost got it. She almost got it complete. You're one of the organizers, right? So we have to give the
Third person your gift. And who is the fourth? Yeah, I think we're standing next to each other.
but I'll see who is the third person. So the second person is receiving
I think I want to make your gifts more special too. I have this other.
this is a
Special pen.
not from AWS now. This is from
Me. To you, telling you congratulations. And then this is a AWS sticker and user group sticker. We need to keep this for the third person.
yeah. Congratulations. So the person that should now be third will now be who is fourth. So let's see. I think I'm enjoying this their adverts. All right, so let's see who was odd. You are the one. So let's see the participants. Did they tell you are the fourth? Who is silver? Eh?
Okay. Congratulations.
Come this way. Congratulations, you are going to receive this and a $15 voucher from the store. Congratulations.
So
For consolation prize,
everybody receives this.
here. Here. Okay, I'm giving you have. All right.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You can put it in your book. Here. All right. So that is
All. Congratulations to everybody. And I wish you all the best in your endeavor in the cloud field.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a journey together and end of the day, get to find out where So let's just keep applying these things and practicing and all that. Read up some more, maybe do more research. As by next year, we're going to do some practical invite your friends next time. Tell them that you have to be able to do online. Those that are important to the plan, friends, physically. More interesting. I'm sure next time you take care of one from you come physically. So thank you very much for making yourself available.
Yeah.
We're going.